Blues last weekend, but on current form, favourites today?
Probably the form Welsh region at the moment, playing some of the best rugby, especially with ball in hand. They can be a little bit frustrating at times as well, and I think the Blues game typified that. First half, turned over the ball far too many times, not enough numbers in the breakdown. Second half, managed that area really well, hunted in packs, and Moriarty and Wainwright had a field day, and they've been on fire at the moment. If they can do that and get the ball in the front foot, they head the attacking stats. 541 metres gained, 14 clean breaks, and 29 defenders beaten. They get that again today, it's Dragons win.
There we are, a bold early prediction from former Osprey Shane Williams. Let's go and find Rhys up in the commentary box. And Rhys, it seems rotation is the name of the game again. Both sides, as they have done in the first two rounds, ringing the changes.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity, Ross, for coaches to have a really look at the depth of their squads and the depth of the Dragons. You've got Ollie Griffiths, a real star quality player coming back. I think he's world class. Hope he stays injury free, like you said. He's got Dan Baker, who signed a new contract alongside him. The back line there, no Jamie Roberts, Jack Dixon comes in, but he wears 13 and Iron Owen wears 12, and I think that's his best position to get a chance to really show his skill set there and maybe catch the eye of the Welsh selectors. 6-2 split for the Dragons on the bench. Could be interesting come sort of 70 minutes. The Lions start for the Ospreys. Alan Wynne-Jones and Justin Tipuric are there. Bradley Davis starts for the first time since November 2020, recovered from quite a serious bout of COVID-19. Morgan Morris will give them go forward in the pack, and behind that will come, I think, from Kieran Williams, a real pocket rocket. And it could be a battle for international, certainly a battle for regional honours today, but internationally they could go head-to-head to catch Wayne Pivac's eye. It could be an Iron Owen against Kieran Williams. Little battles in a big Welsh regional battle.
Absolutely, it's always those individual duels that kind of whet the appetite ahead of these games, I think, isn't it? Sean Holley will have come here many times on the Ospreys team bus as head coach. And Sean, crowd or no crowd here at Rodney Parade, the Ospreys don't much like coming here, do they?
Well, the Ospreys win 2/3 of the games between these two teams, Ross, but as Shane and I know only too well, that drops to 50% here at Rodney Parade. And they're off the back of a miserable performance against the Scarlets. Only 8% dominant carries, 0 clean breaks. They lost the gain line battle, and they missed the likes of Morgan Morris and Kieran Williams ball carrying, both of whom start today, as Rhys said. For the Ospreys, though, it's about the set piece and it's about the kicking game. 5 penalties at scrums from the 12 they've had in the Rainbow Cup so far. And as for tries, 5 of their 6 tries in the competition have originated from the set piece. Contrasting styles today then, Ross, but both teams really need a win.
Thank you, Sean. And if you thought our lineup was maybe a bit Ospreys heavy, the man alongside me has redressed that balance somewhat. Dragon to his very core. Ashton Hewitt made a barnstorming debut on Premier Sports last week, so he's been reselected and very worthy of your place as well, Ashton. Welcome aboard. The last time these two teams met, it was at the Brewery Field in Bridgend, kind of not a neutral venue, but not the usual place you take on the Ospreys. It was a convincing win. You scored 2 tries in a 31-20 victory. Will that game have been brought up this week to prepare for this one?
I think so, yeah. I think we did well what we targeted in terms of improvements in that game. I think it was a start for us in terms of really getting these results and getting some points on the board. So it's definitely a game that would have been referenced this week. Obviously, we came off the back of a loss in the festive period against the Ospreys at home, which would have been disappointing. But, you can't take more momentum away from an away win against the Ospreys to bring it back home and get a win in this competition.
There we are then, so Dragons desperate to win again against the Ospreys this season, this time at home. Owain Gwynedd has been combing through the stats, and attack-wise, Owain, Dragons looking really good in this competition, but they'd have been kicking themselves, as we said, with that Blues defeat last week. They may need to alter their tactics today if the weather rolls in as it's promised to do.
Yeah, the sun's been out for the last few minutes, but I'm not sure what to do. Coat on, coat off, it's raining, the sun's out. But if you look at the Dragons, as you guys mentioned, they're much improved and they've got plenty of motivation going into this game. They currently have 7 wins in the Pro 14. If they win the remaining 2 fixtures in the Rainbow Cup, this will be their best season since 2011. Shane's already mentioned the attacking statistics of the Dragons, how potent they've been. And if we bear that in mind, they'll be licking their lips at the thought of turnover ball. And the Ospreys have conceded an average of 14 turnovers per game in the opening 2 rounds of the Rainbow Cup. And if you look at the Ospreys and their discipline, it's been fantastic this season, topping the charts. And also it's been fantastic in the last 2 rounds of the Rainbow Cup as well. They've only conceded 14 penalties.
Thank you, Owain. This is the last game of round 3 of the Rainbow Cup. We've had some corkers already this weekend. It all started on Friday night with another big Interpro derby, this time between Connacht and Munster. Connacht making history, beating all 3 of their Irish rivals away from home for the first time in a single season. And that was Munster's first defeat as well. Then also on the Friday night, Leinster beat Ulster. A bit more narrow scoreline this one, 21-17 at the RDS. Robbie Henshaw with the decisive try for the men from Dublin. Yesterday evening, well, this was a real heart-stopper at Parker Scarlets. Scarlets made a massive comeback, and the Blues had built what seemed an unassailable lead, and then it looked as though Scarlets snuck it. But for this kick from Jared Evans, nerves of steel to seal victory. And Benetton, well, they are the pace setters. 3 from 3, having not won a single game in the regular season. They've beaten their Italian rivals twice and thumped Glasgow Warriors, and they are currently top of the Rainbow Cup table. And speaking of Glasgow, well, they did the double over their near neighbours Edinburgh. Edinburgh lost to them rather last weekend, and we're looking for revenge. But Glasgow did the double in Edinburgh, 4 tries in total, including that one there from Adam Hastings. So a cracking roundup of action so far this weekend. Back to the here and now, though, the last game of the round, Dragons v Ospreys. And Owain has been catching up with Aaron Wainwright and Luke Morgan.
Aaron, talk me through last week. How disappointing was it to lose by a single point to the Blues?
Yeah, it was a tough game. Fine margins. I think we had the chance to capitalise when they went down to 13 men. We didn't do that, so that'll be one of the learnings to take into today, is capitalising when we have the advantage, and try and close the game out.
Yeah, what else have you been focusing on this week then to make sure you notch up another win?
Yeah, breakdown. Just make sure we have a lot of fast, clean ball. And hopefully we can get our attacking game going. I think you saw glimpses of it last week when we were on top. We looked quite strong and powerful. So yeah, if we can get into that sort of rhythm again, we'll be looking dangerous.
You're up against the Rio Dyer on the wing, known as one of the quickest men in Welsh rugby at the moment. How much are you looking forward to that challenge?
Yeah, it'd be good. You know, I played a little bit of sevens with him, so I know what he's about. You know, he's a quick boy, and like I say, it always brings that extra edge when you've got the oppositions who's as quick as you and stuff, so it'll be a good battle. Yeah,
from the Ospreys perspective, what are you hoping for today in terms of your performance?
Oh, you know, I think it's just going to be, you know, it's local derby, so they always have that extra bit of edge, and you always try and get the one up on your opposition kind of thing. So, you know, we'll be looking to start well. First 20 minutes, come out firing all guns, and you know, just take it step by step after that. Then, so just get a couple of points on the board and see how we are.
Cheers, Luke. All the best today. Go
Cheers,
well.
guys. Thanks.
Sean and Shane have joined us in studio because of distancing. Sean feels about half a mile away, but I think you can just about hear me, Sean. Benetton, top of the log, 3 from 3, the only unbeaten side in the competition. They're in the box seat to make it to the final. How bizarre does that sound?
Benetton against the Bulls, imagine that. It'd be good, wouldn't it? But, you know, this is what the Rainbow Cup has brought, Ross. You know, fresh competition, you know, some new faces, a chance for people to prove themselves, because Leicester run away with the Guinness Pro 14. And it would be great, but it does put another emphasis on today's game, because both teams have now lost the game. They don't want to go 1 and 2. And the Ospreys, well, they have Connacht and Benetton to play, so there's added spice to this one.
Certainly is. And on that note, Shane, we're disappointed not to see the South African sides over here, but we now get to see a cross-hemisphere final.
Yeah, and haven't we? You know, I certainly have enjoyed watching the South Africans play the rugby. It's a completely different game to what we play in the Pro 14. They try and play with tempo. They move the ball around. There's so many mistakes in the game. It's fantastic because it's such an open, massive game. It's physical. It's tough. And it'd be great to pit yourselves against the best in the world. You know, they are the world champions as well when it comes to the World Cup. So, yeah, it makes for a great match-up at the end.
Sadly, Ashton, you won't be able to take part in it if it does happen and the Dragons make it to the final. But Sean described this one as a clash of styles. South African best team against the best team here, whoever it may be, will be a clash of styles.
It will, yeah, and you can see if you watch home and away games from when we've played the South African teams in the past, they're 2 completely different games when we bring them to Rodney Parade on a wet, rainy night, as we all know. They don't play how they want to play. When we go away and play in the sun in South Africa, you know, our lungs are a bit more blowing than they would be on a Friday night down here. So they are 2 completely different styles of play. And it'll just make an interesting matchup to finish off this competition.
Certainly will. The venue yet to be decided, so we don't know exactly where it will be played, but that could have a big impact, as the boys say. OK, back to the here and now then. We'll hear from both head coaches of the Dragons and the Ospreys after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
magnificent Jaguar. Right now, their very survival is at risk. We have to save the Jaguar while we still have the chance. Please help this inspiring animal by adopting one today with WWF. You'll receive this fascinating adoption pack and an adorable cuddly toy. Call 0800 035 7107 or search WWF Jaguar. An incredible, living, breathing legend. We must do all we can to protect the Jaguar.
Welcome back to Premier Sports. It's the final game of round 3 of the Rainbow Cup, and it's time to hear from the home head coach. Dean Ryan has been speaking to Ollie.
Dean, Ollie back in the team. How important is it for him and for you that he remains fit and gets to run of games now?
Yeah, I think everybody hopes that with Ollie, don't they? It's so difficult once you've had a poor history of injury, is you're always trying to fight to get that sort of reputation away from you. And we're just pleased to see him back on the field. And at the moment we've got lots of back rowers up, and having him around as well gives us another option. So yeah, I think there's always a little bit of fingers crossed that he can get through this, go again next week, and get a little bit of rhythm to his game.
You've described the Ospreys in the week as a different test to the Blues last week. What type of test are they going to pose you then?
I just think they're trying to play a little bit freer. I think the Blues were very physical, big set piece and field position, and for the first half hour we came clearly second in that, and we had to try and change the way the game was played in the second half. And I think today, I think the way the Ospreys have gone about stuff over this season a bit similar, and so we might see if we can stay clear of the weather might see a game with good intent.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We've had a few April showers in May, but it hasn't come yet. Thunderstorms later, apparently. Let's hope they hold off, because the Dragons began this competition in scintillating style, didn't they? But Shane, against the Blues last week, as was referenced, they found it much tougher against a more aggressive, muscular side.
Yeah, well, Cardiff, the Blues do pride themselves on their defence, don't they? They are very aggressive, and they love a turnover, and they got a team full of Ollie Robinson, whether it be Josh Turnbull and Dylan Lewis had a field day, didn't he, for the Blues? The problem was the Dragons, they were sending up one runners, the second man in just wasn't efficient enough, wasn't getting the right areas or getting in the right positions, and Blues are turning it over and having a field day. And that's the problem with the Dragons. Once that happens, they kind of run out of ideas. The scramble defence from the Blues was really good as well. I think there was 3 turnovers on the try line, which stopped the Dragons winning the match in the end. But the Drags have proven in the second half, especially when they do get quick ball, they look after their ball, they hunt in packs. on the front foot, they are very, very dangerous, and Moriarty and Wainwright were fantastic in that second half.
They were. You got to say that Dean Ryan's hardest selection every week has got to be his back row trio, isn't it? Because you've got so many options to pick from. Different blend again this week. Dan Baker playing against his old side. Aaron Wainwright's got 6 and the captain's armband. It seems whatever number he's got in his back at the moment, Sean, he's on fire.
Yeah, he is. He's really come into the form that he showed when he first put a red jersey on. And working with Ross Moriarty, they've been insatiable. Link him well, you know, passing, tip-on passes. They use him well in sort of the edge of a pod of forwards. And this guy, you know, he's more than just a hard ball carrier. He's a footballer, you know, intelligent player, and clearly a leader now because Dean's given him the captain's armband. So, you know, whether he plays 6 or 8, you know, he's really on form. And I think he's putting his hand up at the right time. The timing's good with the Wales internationals in the summer. And who knows, if he continues to form in a game like this today, he may be on the list for a replacement job for the Lions. Let's see.
He has been mentioned in dispatches by Warren Gatland, hasn't he? So who knows? Completing that trio today, man, you know very well, Ollie Griffiths, back from another injury. Ashton, he's been sidelined so much these last few seasons. What does he bring that's different from the rest?
Well, he's such a well-rounded player, but over anything else is his intent and his strength. You can see in attack, he takes the ball so well at the line, beating defenders for fun, and he just refuses to stop, getting that momentum. You know, in defence here, you can see he has no right to be winning that jackal there, but his strength, he pulls the man to the ground and gets the turnover, despite there being 3 attacking players in there. And again here, even if the jackal's not on, he identifies that and uses his brute strength to just get through that ruck and eventually win the penalty. So we've been having quick ballers of late, as we've already alluded to, and he's only going to make that better for us with the momentum that he brings.
So brute strength was the word you used, and he is unbelievably strong. Ollie Griffiths, such a good player to be able to select for Dean Ryan, and someone the Ospreys will need to keep an eye on today. Let's hear from their head coach, shall we? Toby Booth.
Toby, you weren't too pleased with the performance last week. Conditions obviously playing their part then. How do you look to kick on, and what have you focused on this week?
Well, exactly what you say, consistency in performance, really. If you look at the Blues game before that, you know, we were very, very good in that, and we were disappointed in certain key areas of what we produced against the Scarlets. So, you know, today's an opportunity to put that right. It's part of the big picture. We need to be more consistent, more consistently, if you like. And so, yeah, this provides an opportunity for us to see what lessons we've learned and how much we can maintain that consistency.
Alan Wynne-Jones and Justin Tipuric in the team again this week. How do you look to manage their playing time, considering the summer they have ahead?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, you can imagine that we take everything on an individual basis. I'm in conversation with Wayne Pivac and whoever else requires their services, as you were. But they're very keen to play for the Ospreys whenever they can. Whether they feature much beyond this week will be, up for question. But they were very keen to play, especially on the back of what was an average performance for us last week.
Yeah, it was an average performance after that big win over the Blues. Abject in some parts, Sean. A big caveat, I guess, was the weather. It was pouring down all night in Llanelli, but they just could not string any meaningful phases together.
No, and they were on the back foot. No go forward. I mentioned Kieran Williams. He's a big player for them now, and not just gain line, he's more than that. And you can see the lack of cohesion because of the lack of front foot. And there's a lot of errors. Yes, it was a greasy night, but poor option taken here, nothing on there. And lack of communication, who's that going to? So it was really disappointing. And on top of that, I mentioned set piece during the warm-ups. The Scarlets contested and stole 6 of their lineouts, and that's been a big area for them. The one chance they had, Luke Price needed to kick that down deep into the 22. He didn't, and they lost their lineout. So they were really disappointing. They've been building momentum, but that was a setback for Toby Booth. And you could just see him in the warm-up here, and in his eyes, they need a performance here today.
Certainly do, and Alan Wynne-Jones and Justin Tipuric were just behind us then, Shane, and as he mentioned there, they want to play. They don't want to be wrapped up in cotton wool ahead of the Lions tour. How much does their presence galvanise what is a fairly young squad?
Yeah, look, it should galvanise a lot more than it does. I think sometimes Ospreys play better rugby when they don't have these 2 players on the field, because you have to perform. Sometimes as well in games you see that they massively heavily reliant on the likes of Tipuric and Alan Wynne-Jones, and rightly so. They're fantastic players, but you need the 13 other players to put their hands up and go, well, actually, do you know what, I'm actually a pretty good player. And usually that's what a youngster needs. We don't see that enough in the season, I don't think. Yes, they're world-class players, but we need another 13 good players in this Osprey team to really give a big performance today as well.
What about from an opposition perspective, Ashton? When you see the teams announced on a Thursday or a Friday and it's got the likes of Alan Wynne and Justin Tipuric in the team, do your shoulders drop a little bit?
Well, I think from a team perspective, you obviously identify the threats and what they bring to the game with the caliber of players that they are. But individually, I think it depends on the person, and I think most cases players take it as an opportunity. If you look at the likes of Ollie Griffiths, he's got an opportunity now to put his hand up, going toe-to-toe with Tipperick. And you look at Ben Carter, the way he's been playing this season so far, you know, he's going toe-to-toe with one of the greatest. So opportunity rather than nerves, I think.
So they're inspired facing these guys, not cowed by fear. Sean, one thing they'll need to get right today, and they were appalling in terms of their kicking game in the weather against the Scarlets, and if the rain does roll in, they're going to have to be better equipped than they were last week.
They need to kick better than they did last week. They kicked more than any other Welsh region, and the Dragons kicked the least. But, you know, they tried to dominate the middle of the field in the air, but they didn't do so. On the flip side, the Scarlets hit the grass, pushed the Ospreys back, and you can see Luke Price here now in the second example, Kai Evans. They're under pressure on the back foot and have to kick it into touch, and that's going to be difficult. If the Dragons get set pieces in those areas, they can get on a rumble, and you know, they can be a potent threat.
Absolutely. Well, the weather's not arrived yet, so fingers crossed we won't need to talk too much about a kicking game and playing against the elements. Wayne Pivac is here, Ashton, as he was yesterday at the derby between the Scarlets and the Blues. We've talked about Aaron Wainwright as perhaps an outside contender for a Lions call-up if there are injuries. Some of your Dragons teammates will be hoping and praying they get Wayne Pivac's attention for the Wales games coming up this summer.
100%. There's plenty of players and there's plenty of talent in our squad who should be getting a place on that tour, I believe. I think Aneurin, we spoke about him last week, and the threats that he brings, I think he's deserving of one. We're talking about Rio. He's got aspirations to play for Wales. Whether he's there yet or not, I don't know, but he'll be having hopes, definitely, and he'll be doing what he can in these games. So we've got a lot of players. Again, Ben Carter, he's been playing out of his skin for a new player. So there'll be plenty of players who maybe not expecting it, some maybe, but have definitely got a shot.
Absolutely, and perhaps more slots than usual because of the Lions absentees this summer. So very interesting. These are trials as well as Rainbow Cup matches. Predictions, right then. I think everyone, bar Sean, has gone for a Dragons victory here today. Ashton, unsurprisingly, has done. But it's going to be close, according to the experts. We'll find out, won't we? Very soon. Kick-off is 5 minutes away.
A rare and beautiful tiger, trapped by vicious steel cables, slowly dying. Another victim of wildlife crime. Adopt a better future for tigers with WWF and help stop their painful deaths. We'll send you an exciting adoption pack with a cuddly toy. Call 0800 035 7100 or search WWF Tiger and adopt a tiger for just £3 a month. We must do all we can to keep them alive.
Welcome back to a warm and, for now at least, dry Rodney Parade ahead of the Dragons versus the Ospreys. A critical game in round 3 of the Rainbow Cup. Both sides desperate for victory if they are to progress potentially to the final. Your commentary team for this one: Shane Williams, Sean Holly and Rhys Ap-William.
It's the last game of round 3 in the Guinness Pro 14 Rainbow Cup, the last game of the season at Rodney Parade, and it's a Welsh derby as the Dragons welcome the Ospreys. The Dragons make 6 changes from the loss against the Cardiff Blues, 4 in the pack. Starman Ollie Griffiths is back from injury and wears 7. Ben Carter steps up to wear 5 as Matthew Screech is out injured. Jack Dixon takes Jamie Roberts' place in the centre, but wears 13, not 12, and a real threat on the outside. Some serious gas in Jonah Holmes and Rio Dyer. The Ospreys have Sam Parry, the try-scoring hooker, starting this week, and Bradley Davis and Morgan Morris give their pack a slightly bulkier look. And the go forward behind the scrum will come from Kieran Williams, the dynamo, and he looked to create space for Luke Morgan and Dewi Cross on the Ospreys' wings. And here come the teams, led up by Justin Tipuric, the British and Irish Lion. The Ospreys playing in white. Out they come onto Rodney Parade. It's a big game for both regions, both Welsh regions, still in the hunt with how results have gone in round 3 of the Rainbow Cup. At the moment, the Ospreys are in 9th on 5 points, but a win can change everything. It's very, very tight in the Rainbow Cup. And here come the Dragons, led out by Aaron Wainwright. He's captaining his region today. Captaincy's been moved around a little bit. In the back row, mainly Ross Moriarty last week against the Cardiff Blues. But the Dragons, unlucky last week, but they have a real chance. Especially because that man, Ollie Griffiths, is back in the mix, back playing. Who's in the middle today? Well, it's that man, Irishman Frank Murphy, former professional himself, of course. And his assistants, Alan Evans, Ben Breakspear, all Welsh, and Rhys Thomas is the TMO. It's a typical Welsh day, weather-wise a bit damp, but I've got a feeling this Welsh derby could brighten things up. Let's hope so. Dragons will be looking for a victory at home to finish in style at Rodney Parade, because their next home game will be in Cardiff against Glasgow. And it's the Dragons that get us underway on the left boot of Sam Davis. And Rio Dyer does exceptionally well to get a left hand to that one. And they have the ball. Pertranu, the Argentine international. He's signed again as Tipuric is strong over the ball there.
Contest is good.
Yeah, no problem there. That's a contest. Good contest, says the referee. And the first penalty goes to the Ospreys. And Sean Holly and Shane Williams, you've made your way up to the gantry.
Yeah, just managed to get up now, just for the start. But yeah, this is exactly what I spoke about before the game. Really, is Dragons unable to look after that ball in the breakdown. They went the short side, didn't have the numbers, and that man Tipuric was there just to turn the ball over again.
It's interesting in it because the Ospreys like to build phases, and the Dragons are going to be intent on trying to steal that ball with Ollie Griffiths and co.
Tipuric pinches ball, wins ball in line-out. He can do everything. That's why he's a British and Irish Lion. Kieran Williams with his first touch. A good counter there from the Dragons. And they've turned that over. Ben Carter. And this is what the Dragons want. And that's quick ball. Dixon. He's wearing 13. And keep an eye out to see how they line up if an Iron Owen lines at the second receiver. Joe Davis.
Tackle.
He's played in all but 2 games in the Pro 14 this term.
Stop.
That man hasn't. He's returned from injury. But it's a good option to have Josh Lewis there. You know, he's another 10, really. He's a bit slots in a 15, but it gives you another option.
Yeah, they can play both sides of the ruck with 2 10s as well as you like. Finishing on positives. It'll be about turning the Ospreys, as we saw the Scarlets do last week. But as you said, Shane, early turnover. I think it was Ollie Griffiths straight on the ball.
On the line, captain.
Yeah, I think the ball is a little bit slippy there. The Ospreys looked like they controlled it, didn't they? But when you got players like Ollie who's chomping at the bit at the moment to get involved.
Wait.
Great matchup.
There's a clearance from Ruben Morgan-Williams. Not gone that far. That'll be Dragons' possession.
Your mark. You get the line. Set your
First line out.
It's your mark.
And that backs up, Reece, the kick from Josh Lewis. You know, it's good pressure. It was a good take by Tipperick, but it's not a good clearance. Dragons in the ascendancy here. It's a good set piece to have.
Way 9.
And they've won that set piece. Carter with the take. Bertrand, first receiver. Crossfield kick. Oh, Jonah Holmes is out there. I was going to say, he's a powerful unit. Is he going to cross for the first score? He's going to go under the sticks. This man has hit some serious form, and he crosses for the first try of this derby. A try for the Dragons.
Yeah, and it was great play as well, wasn't it? The Dragons, they love playing rugby. They love moving the ball from side to side. You can see straight away, Jonah Holmes right on the touchline. He's called that. That hasn't just come off. He's called that one-on-one with Dan Evans, and Dan Evans has gone too high. Jonah Holmes is a big, big man. You've got to go below the waist to put this man down, especially a player who's on this kind of form. Nice, easy try for him.
That's lovely play, isn't it? I said the clearance wasn't good enough, and they put the Dragons right on the front foot. Lovely kick. Bertrand, first receiver, and Sam Davis, a second receiver, means it brings the winger up and just gives Jonah Holmes a little bit more space.
I think that's the good thing about the Dragons. They've got so many options now, you know. They've got some great players in form. That's just not good enough for Dan Evans. He knows it as well. Not only that, he's got to push Luke Morgan out the way. He goes under the post, nearly untouched. Player in form, but the Dragons got so many options, and they play so well. The basic skills, really good for the back line.
First score of this Welsh derby then goes to the Dragons and to Jonah Holmes. Conversion was good from Sam Davis. 7-0 the home team lead. Perfect start.
Stay.
And the sun is shining at Rodney Parade. Whether or not it stays like this, that's a big debate. It's been raining, the sun's been out, we've had a bit of everything. No rainbow as yet, apart from this count.
No comment, Reece. Weather in Wales at the moment. It's a bit of a lottery. That's a good clearance of Sam Davis. And getting that conversion, he's missed a couple of crucial kicks at goal in the last few weeks, and that's a good settler for him. He's put 3 or 4 different types of kicks in now.
Tipperick with a take again for the Ospreys, and the drive comes on. Where's the ball? Tip still have it. Ollie Griffiths has got it. Well, oh, he's not been pinned for that because he's got his mitts on the ball. The Dragons have it. But it's a penalty against Tyler Davis for side entry. But Ollie Griffiths, he's some player, isn't he, Sean?
Well, it's right underneath us here, Reece. And Ashton Hewitt, our studio guest, mentioned about his brute strength. He's not a tall man, but he's all there, isn't he? You know, shoulders and arms and chest, and right in the middle of that maul and stole it. Wasn't he that infringed? A real chance now for the Ospreys.
A banana kick there. You've got a left footer in Dan Evans, like you can pop out in the corner there.
Well, I think I'd have got that closer to the corner flag, if I'm honest. That's just not good enough. I know the Ospreys have got a very good driving maul, and that's where the penalties come from. I feel sorry for Ollie Griffiths there. It wasn't his fault the penalty was given, but it's still a long way to drive this, isn't it? It needs to be at least another 5 or 6 metres close to the try line.
Some dark clouds to the east. And a good counter by the Dragons initially, pushing the Ospreys out of their 22. Morgan Williams using it. Kieran Williams, Owen Watkin. What all teams look for is quick ball. Morgan Morris on the charge. He'll make a difference for the Ospreys coming back in. Let's listen to what the decision is here from Frank Murphy.
Lift, then brought to ground by 4. Clear lift.
Added value, isn't it? Jack Dixon over the ball that time, and the intent over the ball from the Dragons. You know, the Ospreys have to be alert in that first carry and the first arriving person.
Yeah, there's been a couple of occasions now where the Ospreys are taking up one runners. Nice low tackle there initially, isn't it? On Morgan Morris. Dixon straight over the ball. Bradley Davis just too slow. He's over the top of Dixon. Dixon gets underneath him. Turnover.
Jack Dixon, a big man. And a clean line-up ball for the Dragons. Bertrand. There's Dixon hitting a good line into the Ospreys half. If the Dragons can create quick ball. Ooh, Ollie Griffiths with a line there. Good hands by Aneurin Owen. If the Dragons can create quick ball, they are exceptionally dangerous. That's gone forward. No advantage for the Ospreys. Well, what have we got? 7 minutes on the clock. Quick ball is serious tempo in this fixture.
Yeah, they're so well organised, the Dragons. 2 phases. Ollie Griffiths nearly gets through. Owen Watkin had to do really well there to shut that out, because Rio Dyer come all the way from the left wing over to the right side. They've got so much planning. You can see here now, I don't know, we've mentioned so much about him. There's Griffiths, never out of the game, is he? But look, Leon Brown is there. They're right, they get quick ball, no contest. But there's Owen Watkin, spots up on Dyer. That's a great job from the centre.
Yeah, and he has to, doesn't he? He comes out the line. He's almost come out of the line there. He's raised a dog leg, but he's got his hands on that ball. He's ripped it out. Deemed a knock on, but
We're just dropping it up quickly, do we?
that's the difference. I think the Dragons have so many options. Ollie Griffiths in the centre. They shouldn't really be standing up in the centre. Nice, lovely pass from Aneurin Owen. Great hands. They get over the gain line.
What about this man, Owen Watkin? You know, he's still a young guy, you know, but he's got how many caps has he got? 26 caps for Wales? You know, he's an experienced head in the Ospreys ranks.
He is. He's a good player. You know, that's his speciality there. Good in defence, reads well, which is why he's playing 13, rips the ball. But he's a much better player than just that. I'd like to see him at 12. I'd liken him to like an Ashley Beck type player. He's got good feet, good offloading. He's a big man. You know, we've got Kieran Williams there for the Ospreys, who's been so good for them. But you look at the options for Wales, you know, at 12, moving forward, you know, these two could be in contention.
Someone else I saw practicing his kicking with Gareth Anscombe as well. You know, no one's really mentioned him. He's had an awful run with his knee. He can make a difference to the Ospreys and to Wales.
Oh, without doubt. And we haven't even mentioned Stephen Myler, who's been missing for the Ospreys for the last few weeks, and it's definitely affected the performance. Let's put it that way. And someone with Anscombe as well coming back. Hopefully now we can see him sooner rather than later. It's been a long time, and it must be difficult on him as well.
Yeah, lots of new signings coming in to the Ospreys. Quite a difficult time in Welsh rugby. No one knows what kind of budgets they're working with. Dean Ryan said it's been difficult, but what's been happening, I guess, is re-signing players, making sure that they retain players within their squads.
And the other thing is, we're seeing young players exposed. You know, you talk about Aneurin Owen and Rio Dyer. You know, they're having opportunities. Look, Jonah Holmes even is having opportunities and putting his hand up. Now, he'll be playing in a red shirt this summer. That's for sure.
Bind!
Cumlin best product, they've got to add that in. It's my neck of the woods.
Went early.
Well, his grandmother was. A penalty, another penalty for the Ospreys. Offside.
Where are we? Just there?
Frank Murphy deemed the Dragons to be.
They tried to speed it up. Morgan Morris with the tap penalty, but again, it just looked a little bit slow and disorganised, didn't it?
Yeah, well, what I didn't get is Morgan Morris takes a quick tap and then offloads it to the scrum half to hit it up. Now, you know, we're not going to pretend to be an expert, but that's you don't need that. I need that guy, Ruben Morgan Williams, out to be distributing, really. Because he has to take it up. Of course, he's got Tipperick on his shoulder. He always is going to have it, but it's Morgan Morris that should be taking that up or getting it out wide. It's a tap penalty. You want to speed the game up.
Or have a plan, Shane, that Kieran Williams comes off Morgan Morris, sharp angle, you know, get across the gain line. And if you're going to go quick,
for him, he's a prop, lads. Okay, left of the mark. Patience.
Ospreys have gone for a scrum.
Yeah, it was a free kick, wasn't it? So, yeah.
This option ties players in, ties defenders in. Greg Bateman with a start on the loose head for the Dragons. Very rarely he starts.
Interesting lineup for the Ospreys as well, isn't it? Dan Evans, Luke Price and Luke Morgan on the left-hand side. Real short side.
Good shove as well. It's a penalty advantage for the Ospreys. Morgan Morris is a chance. It's a free play for the Ospreys. They can try something. I'd like to see them keep the ball in hand, which Dan Evans does. Still be an advantage. Bradley Davis decides not to give it. Dan Evans on the carry. That could have been deemed a high shot. Price, Kieran Williams, steps. Got his hands free. Good contest there.
Okay, no advantage. We'll go back for the penalty.
That scrum pretty impressive from the Ospreys front row on Gareth Thomas's side there in particular.
He's been really impressing, Gareth Thomas. He had a 50-50 game against the Scarlets last week at a difficult time, but you know, he does win penalties. I mentioned the Ospreys, you know, 5 out of their 12 scrums in the Rainbow Cup, they've won penalties, and that's where the Dragons have to be careful. They're going to contest. If they give penalties away, this Ospreys team are happy to go to that set piece.
Shot called.
They had 2 options on the penalty. One came from this powerful shove. Kind of look at the angle. Leon Brown is in. Gareth Thomas is in on the same angle. That's what scrummaging used to be all about.
He's got to be careful he doesn't kick out there, Gareth Thomas. You know, Leon Brown penalised twice last week, but he's still got a scrummage square. I'm sure the officials will be keeping an eye on it.
They've opted for a shot at goal. Luke Price, he's had a bit of bad luck with injuries as well. ACL, broke his leg, but he's back. Everyone needs game time. How's his right boot working today? He's turned, picks his tee up. Usually a good sign. The Ospreys are on the board at Rodney Parade. It's the Dragons 7, the Ospreys 3, almost 12 minutes gone. And a good scrum for the Ospreys have brought that 3 points about. But the tempo of the game has been all with the Dragons when they have it. Started well, but certainly an entertaining Welsh derby. And the rain is staying away, which is a good thing. Davis with a restart. He finds that Ethan Roots, the Kiwi,
outside,
on loan.
Use it.
With the Ospreys. He's for North Harbour and the Crusaders.
He's inside,
back
guys,
in New
he's
Zealand.
Inside. Stay on.
He's come in for Dan Lydiate, really, with that long-term knee injury. Ruben Morgan-Williams looking to clear. He's inside. They get play up towards halfway. And that is a better clearance.
That's much better. You know, it changes the line-out call for the Dragons. You know, it puts the Ospreys on the front foot to a defending line-out. As the Dragons retreat much better from Ruben Morgan-Williams.
Yeah, you can see what the Dragons are doing there. Josh Lewis is back there. Baker's there as well. They're loading the backs, trying to get the ball, hoping that the ball is open, stays on field, and they can play some rugby.
Was that straight? No problem, says anybody. And Iron Owen puts boot to ball. Long. Dewi Cross comes across, calls for the mark. Looking for green space. You spoke about that but pre-match. You didn't quite find it there, Iron Owen.
Now they've got options with Josh Lewis and Iron Owen, but they're pushing the kicker one out to try and bring Luke Morgan, Dewi Cross up to hit that grass piece, and you know, it's paying off. Lovely take from Ben Carter in the second row in the lineup. I've been so impressed watching him. Really excited to see him develop over the next couple of seasons.
Well, Matthew Screech has announced that he's be moving to the Cardiff Blues, or Cardiff Rugby. They'll be next season. Ben Carter's been really impressive, as you said. There's Joe Peard here as well at the Dragons, another big man. Look for him to develop maybe towards the end of this season, but certainly into next. And that's taken by Joe Davis. Bertrand tidying things up. Jonah Holmes into traffic. He's not just quick, he's powerful as well. Back inside, that is Ben Carter. Offload to Dan Baker, the former Osprey. Had a little bit of time in the Pro de Deux in France. That's a short ball, but it's an advantage. Not taken by the Ospreys. Dragons look good for a couple of phases.
They do look good, and they look much better as well when they control the ball and keep the ball well in the breakdowns. And they've just got options everywhere. Dan Baker with a great carry. You know, he's a new contract with the Dragons, thoroughly deserved. But they just take it on when they're taking on the front foot. They've got so many options. That time Ollie Griffiths doesn't take it himself. Nice inside offload to Carter. Back to Baker. Beats the first man, takes Alan Wynne past that gay line. Great strength again. They look very dangerous, don't they? They enjoy themselves with ball in hand.
We just mentioned Ben Carter in a big second row. He comes in and he offloads off the floor. That's the sort of X-factor stuff that we're looking for. Dan Baker, there's a guy who's had his injury problems, playing against his old club. Big hopes for him, and it's good to see him back.
Ball carrying options important for all regions, all rugby teams in general. always look when there's an injury, because Ollie Griffiths has had so many. You think stoppage in play is an injury. Please not him again. But he will struggle coming back. You know, he's stretching his calves. You know, he's had ankle problems.
Well, it's quite a quick game as well, isn't it? He's been out for some time, especially the game he plays. He's already heavily involved. He's going to be in all the breakdowns and rucks. Open side. They do a bit of work, see, these open sides, don't they?
He does remind me of Sam Warburton, you know, and Warburton went through a catalogue of injuries, but then had a great run. Captain the British and Irish Lions, of course. And let's hope that Ollie Griffiths can stay injury-free and add to his one Welsh cap. Another good drive. It's another penalty coming for the Ospreys. Sam Parry with a big grin on his face as that scrum popped up, walking in midfield. And that was a good offload.
No advantage.
Couldn't quite take it.
Ospreys going forward, Dragons pulling
But it
out.
is a penalty and a chance for them to get deeper into Dragons territory.
Well, I'm watching Leon Brown. He put his arms up in the air. He's got a wry smile on his face. It doesn't quite agree. Let's have a little look here now. Gareth Thomas just holds and then goes for a secondary shove. Just too strong, aren't they?
Well, Gareth, he's a big man, but he gets really low, doesn't he?
Luke Price went for distance like we asked him to do, maybe, but tried to take too much off the cherry there. And he missed touch. So we're back on halfway and a chance gone begging for the Ospreys.
Well, you live and die by the sword. You know, if you tell him to go for it, then you have to be prepared to miss it.
Stay in the line, please.
It's a nearly one, isn't it? It's actually well done now.
Receiver.
Well, the outcome is an Ospreys line out. British and Irish Lions captain Alan Wynne-Jones takes it. On the charge comes Kieran Williams. Owen Watkin being heavily involved. Strong tackle from Ollie Griffiths.
Advantage, lock on.
And that's an advantage for the Dragons. Bateman, good hands by the prop off the floor. And Irene Owen sees some space and finds Bertranou. You could have carried that, but he fancies giving it to some pace. And that's Rio Dyer. And he's got some serious wheels. Has that gone forward? Yes.
That was one tackle by Owen Watkin. Certainly Dyer's got some gas, hasn't he? Outside the Kieran Williams. Alan Wynne-Jones just stretching for air there. And I think it'd be interesting to see the tackle on Watkin where he knocks it on. But it's a lovely flat pass, isn't it? Look at the guy, look at the speed.
Let's go, guys.
Alan Wynne's nowhere near, unfortunately. He rips that, doesn't he? He rips it backwards by the looks of it.
Time off.
It's a great pass. I thought Bertranou could have taken Alan Wynne on, but he recognised it was Rio Dyer and put a flat pass in. And Shane Williams' eyes lit up when he saw Rio Dyer get the ball. Oh, look at the pace, he said. But Owen Watkin, what a cover tackle.
But again, you know, see the intent from the Dragons. They turn the ball over. Two quick passes, get the ball to this man. We know he's fast. We don't use him enough. And it's a lovely, again, another cover tackle. We've seen that before, haven't we?
And we have a captain's challenge. Like it or not, it's still a part of the Rainbow Cup, the rule and law variations. I think Justin Tiprick wants to have a look at a tackle by Ollie Griffiths in midfield. I think it was on Owen Watkin, if I can remember.
We looked at each other as Ollie Griffiths came from the inside.
It could be pretty disastrous, this thing.
Remind me of the numbers involved, please.
It was that long ago. I don't know if they'll find it.
It's straight from the line out. This was. Ospreys carried the ball. I think it was Owen Watkin. I think it was in midfield.
Can you go and help him, Reece?
This is the challenge. This is what they're looking at. Kind of. Well, the ball is the first contact. The ball is the first contact, and he just goes up on the forearm.
Oh, I think he'll give this.
It's high, isn't it? It's a high tackle.
Okay, Reece, that's fine.
We've got one more angle, Frank.
Yeah, okay.
This is not great, but it is part and parcel of the game. And fair play for Justin Tiprick. You know, if you want to get rid of one player for the Dragons, you pick Ollie Griffiths.
We do have a high tackle. It is over the shoulder. It's a penalty only.
Yeah.
The mark is on the halfway. Am I correct?
I agree
First
with all
contact,
those. It's
I'd say, is on the ball,
inside the
isn't it?
Dragons' half, but yes.
5 metres inside the Dragons' half. Okay, I'll go
The thing for me is, Sam Davis is already coming in high. Ollie Griffiths has to go low. We're talking about changing the behaviour of players here.
Okay,
We've seen a good
challenge
tackle from
successful.
Owen
Reece,
Watkin
penalty,
high.
you retain the challenge. It was a high tackle midfield.
But that one, I think he needs to go low. We're changing behaviour and making the game safer, whether we like it or not, whether people think the game's gone soft. It is what it is now.
So how that works.
The saviour there is it's not his shoulder that makes the contact, isn't it? It's the trailing arm, really. But we could see it from up here, so we were kind of waiting for that to come back. But yeah, I agree. If one is going that high, and Sam Davis does tackle quite high, doesn't he? The open side needs to come in and take the legs away.
The captain's challenge. It's an interesting one. It's worked for the Ospreys there. You get to keep your challenge then if you are successful.
Get your timing right.
You can challenge for much more things in the last 5 minutes of a game. Have a read on the Guinness Pro 14 website of the rules, because it'll take me over 80 minutes to describe them all.
Maul, wait.
Clean line out for the Ospreys. Again, Justin Tipuric the target. Good counter initially from the Dragons. And the rain is coming in at Rodney Parade. It's a drizzle at the moment. First receiver, Kieran Williams. There's a bit of crossing in midfield there. The Ospreys, that look a bit patchy.
I mean, it's poor play all around. They set them all, but the Dragons shunt them back. Therefore, it's static ball, and then they try a play that goes wrong. It's a clear penalty.
That's twice now as well, isn't it? The Dragons have thwarted the driving maul. It's a huge part of the Ospreys game. How many times do we see the hookers score tries from those areas? But it's just not shifting at the moment. Well defended by the Dragons.
Yeah, Sean, as you said, very static play, wasn't it? You know,
look how far Rio Dyer's in there as well. He's 25 metres in. He's in under the posts. You got cross on the right-hand side here. You know, his name gives it away, isn't it? Crossfield kick. You know, get it across. That'd have been try time, but just no communication from Luke Price or the players outside him.
Ben Carter, the target again. He's taken maybe every one of the Dragons line-out. Line-out is over. Up the defensive lines can come. Bertrand thought of having a little nibble down the blind side, changed his mind. It's an advantage. That's all on. Ooh.
No advantage.
Could have been deemed loose play then. I thought Bertrand could have gone for it.
It's different.
Jack Dixon just got it totally wrong there. Got in front to Sam Davis. Probably changed the call because of the way the maul developed. He was coming maybe on a short ball off Bertrand. Let's have a look at it. It's Ben Carter again. And in contrast to the Ospreys maul, the Dragons look at their body height and they are taking it forward. I think it was Ethan Roots that gave the penalty away.
They knew the penalty was coming, so it was worth trying something. That's what Sam Davis did. I'm sure he didn't try to kick the ball into Jack Dixon.
Push back.
Seems to be getting his mojo back, Sam Davis, doesn't he? You know, he has good leadership in this team. You see him barking orders. He's just seeing his demeanour that he's confident again.
He's far more vocal, isn't he? Luke Price, he doesn't talk that much. Sam Davis was a bit quiet when he came on the scene, but he's a leader now. He's one of the experienced lads.
He might be a leader, but I don't think he fancied that one. Brave might not be the way to describe him there. It was an overthrow. Sam Davis looking after himself there, rather than diving in head first like maybe an open side would.
Yeah, that there was the difference between an open side and an outside half.
Commentator's curse there.
Well, you could be vocal. That's one thing, but bravery
shout at
is
other
another.
people to do it for you.
Get in there. Get on that loose ball.
Get on it. There it comes. He does the old baseball slide, I think, doesn't he?
You set your gap.
Just saw Kieran Williams in his eye line.
He did the right thing, Sam.
That's a pinch. Joe Davis has stolen that one from the Ospreys. The Dragons ball again. Dan Baker. He's in first receiver. Ties in a couple of Osprey defenders there.
Inside.
Be a long present. This will be a box kick from Bertrand. Up she goes.
Two back.
Sam Davis underneath it. Ollie Griffiths collects. Baker. Former Osprey, of course. Bateman. There's a penalty here. I guess they're maybe lifting the man in the ruck, and I think that Frank Murphy will have a look at this. That's all I saw was Justin Tipperick's blue head guard really low and his legs in the air, I think.
I saw his black boots in the air. Somebody could be in trouble here. He doesn't go down lightly, Justin Tipperick.
to listen to the communication.
I think it's Taylor Davis, the hooker, is it? Or it's Alan Wainwright and Taylor Davis.
It's always tough when there's two players lifting the same guy.
Showing you the pictures now, Frank.
Yeah, so
I think he lands
looks like
okay. It's
captain
just
and captain.
tipping him over the horizontal, but he
number
lands
6.
okay.
It's two of them.
Through the horizontal.
Frank,
Puts
have
it
a look
down
at number 2.
Okay, so number 2 is the instigator there in terms of going through.
I've got to be honest. Is there anything in that at all?
I'm going to yellow card number 2 for dangerous play.
I don't think he lands
You happy with that?
dangerously. I think he lands on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's a tough one for Tyler Davis to take because there's two men lifting
Number
just
2.
in Tiprick. They put him down quite gently.
Yeah, but
Okay, there's 2 of
they
you.
cannot tip him over the
Can't lift him
horizontal.
through horizontal, and you didn't put him to the ground safely. It's a yellow card.
I thought he did go down quite safely.
Yeah. So did I.
Just here, yes.
Unless
No.
you roll a crash mat out for him and put him down on that, you know, because
You want to see some urgency from the Ospreys now. If you're an Ospreys fan,
Lift tackle.
man down, chance to kick this deep into the Dragons' half. The maul hasn't worked quite as well as they wanted so far. They haven't really fired a shot, have they?
I think he's hard lines there for the yellow, surely,
Yeah,
isn't
I
he?
agree.
That's a penalty. There's no intent to drop Justin
Dragons on the line.
Tiprick over the horizontal at all. He almost shift him to the side, doesn't
well,
he, really?
I think they've realised they've gone over the horizontal and put him down on his side. You know, if you compare that to the high tackle by Ollie
Wait for me.
Griffiths, you know, then I can't
Don't
see
come in
a
early.
real element of danger here.
Good. Maul. 5 line out over.
Oh, that is history. The
Dan
Dragons
Baker's
are
had a
down
good
to
start,
14.
doesn't he?
Stay bound 6. That's once 9 stopped.
And the Ospreys line-out drive hasn't functioned, but that one is trundling on like their scrum has been doing. They have the ascendancy there.
Don't change.
Still going on. Leon Brown doesn't have to move from there. Still holding his bind. Ethan Roots has the ball. The Ospreys use it again. And all that momentum that they just kind of built has lost there.
Use it.
Tiprick carrying offload to Gareth Thomas.
Off feet now, release.
Nothing really on the front foot. That's one man that can give it some forward momentum is Morgan Morris. Morgan Williams looking for options. Bradley Davis. Quite a serious case of COVID-19. Laid him really low during his shoulder rehabilitation. Good to see him back starting and fit for the Ospreys. Thomas again, lovely little shift on to Morgan Morris.
Ball is up. Lift
Ball is
it.
up, no problem there. Through came Sam Davis, timed that perfectly. The Dragons' defence really
Cross
creating
now.
some problems for the Ospreys, keeping them behind the gain line at the moment. And this is what Shane Williams called for. Cross, has he caught that? Yes! Oh, the flag is up from assistant referee Alan Evans. But Shane, that's exactly what you called for. Dewi Cross was in acres of space, almost worked for the Ospreys.
Yeah, it almost took too long to come as well. We've had 14 players within about 10, 15 yards for the Ospreys. Tiprick's the widest
Time
there,
off.
apart from Cross. It's actually a very good defensive read from Rio Dyer in the end,
Are we okay?
who takes man and ball right by the corner there. But that kick should have come about 2 or 3 phases earlier.
can't stop
And Cross has been
every time for
screaming
boots and
for
contacts.
it.
We need
Lovely
to throw in
kick,
the game.
just
Okay.
too late.
Was a good kick
Next
from
time
Luke
I'll
Price,
continue
wasn't it?
with something minor.
Right across on the touchline. Debbie Cross was
I just spoke to them there
hugging
with
this one.
maybe
Rio
next
Dyer
time
did
it's
well to get across, but yet just
They're
a
good.
bit of an
They're gonna be on the
afterthought,
line.
Shane.
I know.
Yes, really well read by Rio Dyer as well, because he got heavily involved
Time
in the
on.
midfield there.
Let's
But
go,
the Ospreys
please.
are just
Water off.
so narrow. Tiprick trying to pull out the white shirts, trying to get them wider. But
Dragons set up on the line,
chuck a
please.
blanket over the
Ospreys
14
step
players
off the line.
for about 3 or 4 phases
Get
then.
him to step. Number 3, that's 3.
Well, the outcome
Stop, please. Out 9.
is a line-out. And that one man that took the throw was Greg Bateman.
That's a great
I think
Last now.
before
Stay.
he signed, he was with Leicester. I think he
Go
played
forward.
all 3
Stop
positions
forward.
in the front
Stop.
row in the English Premiership for the Leicester Tigers, and that was a cracking start.
Yeah, look, that was a
safe play,
great throw
offside.
under pressure
Be
right by your try lines. But I think he's a great
On the line.
player. He carries the ball really well. The scrummage goes well with him.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen enough of him really in the Dragons jersey.
I tell you what, it wasn't an easy call for him, was it?
Thanks, ball to the back, throw it to the back.
Out to the back, off the top.
Maul, line out over in the 5.
The Ospreys' target was Justin Tiprick once again.
Advantage, changing bind.
Changing by
Number
Leon
3.
Brown done. for changing his bind, and on trundle the Ospreys. Where is the ball? That's the question. I think Sam Parry has it. Now Ruben Morgan-Williams looking for a gap. Good pressure. Oh, is that flat? If it is, Dewi Cross is under the sticks. Will Frank Murphy have another look at it? Will there be a captain's challenge? Let's wait and see.
There's lovely play from the scrum half. He shimmied a little, he saw a half gap, backed himself to go for it. And there was just a little dog leg in the Dragons' defensive line. And that allowed him just a little bit of time to hold it up. And Cross said, I'm not hugging the touchline anymore. I'm coming in for some action. I think it looks flat.
Dragons captain.
Lovely running line as well.
He wants to check the forward pass. If it is a forward pass.
This is the risk you take with the captain's challenge. You know, all the officials seem to think that it was flat. You know, it looked pretty good to us. If you're wrong, you lose your captain's challenge. You won't get another bite of the cherry.
I agree. I think that's a 50-50 captain's challenge. You want to go to something maybe later in the game. One you got, if you use it now and it doesn't come off.
He loses 55 minutes as well, isn't it? It's a long time. It was a lovely running line as well, to be fair, from Dewi Cross.
So it's a bit difficult for me.
See what they're looking at. I think the big screen might have gone down.
Frank, I've seen all the angles. I cannot see a forward pass. There's nothing clear and obvious to reverse your on-field decision.
Yeah, just to clarify, Reece, we don't have footage here to see it. We need to see it coming out of the hands forward, and you don't see that happening.
Let's have a look. This is not a bad angle to see it because
there's nothing clear and obvious there to say that's gone forward.
Ruben Morgan-Williams is travelling back, isn't he? You know?
We have footage on the small screen here now.
It does look worse because Dan Baker makes a huge tackle on Ruben Morgan-Williams, but the line is there.
And unfortunately, from the Dragon defence, they think that Baker's done enough to tackle. Look, they just bite in. I think Sam Davis has spotted up. There's a great line from Dewi Cross. Just read it off the scrum half, didn't he? He's having a good look.
This is the interesting thing as well. You look at the Dragons players. Does anybody complain about a forward pass? Any hands up?
Bertrand, I think, inside.
Those are all
he just
your
turns
angles,
here.
Frank.
Is it coming out of the hands forward or is it going backwards?
And Bertrand was right bang on the line as well, so, you know.
Yeah, I can't see clearly here. So, Reece, you've got the best picture. You're saying it's going backwards out of the hands.
Yeah, I agree with that, yes. Not clear and obviously forward.
Okay, thanks, Reece.
Not clear and obvious, the forward pass. You could look at that from a lot of angles and it wouldn't be really clear. Try stands. Everyone fancies a charge down after Lee Halfpenny's incident against the Cardiff Blues, and Jason Harris charged down in yesterday's Welsh derby. There it is again.
I think you've just got to look at the 22 line there, haven't you? He's behind it. The pass is made just behind it. It is flat.
I think you've got to credit Dewi Cross there. You know, he's taken his run off Ruben Morgan-Williams. You know, he could easily overrun that more. He doesn't overrun it. It's been judged a try, but he times it to perfection.
Ruben Morgan-Williams searching for a runner, and he found one in Dewi Cross. After 26 minutes at Rodney Parade, the Ospreys are ahead, 10 points to 7.
Stop 2, stop 9. Thank you.
Dan Evans with the clearance. Sam Davis, Dan Baker on the inside. When he goes on a trundle, the more he plays, the fitter he gets, the better he will get. He's a Welsh international, not to forget that. Leon Brown, another Welsh international. Had a tough time, scrum time this afternoon. Davis, into the air she goes. Rio Dyer. Is he taken in contact? No, he wasn't. The Ospreys maintain possession. Front row combination. Parry gets an offload.
Stay.
I think Sam Parry's taken.
Yeah, he's taking a bang to the head there potentially.
Leon Brown's knee, I think. Leon Brown's hobbling.
Yeah. Josh Lewis underneath it. He fancies a counter as well. Over the top of that ball was Ethan Roots. Couldn't quite get his hands on it as Ben Carter runs into Alan Wynne-Jones. Two players at different ends of the spectrum there in the second row.
Yeah, how good will Dan Carter want to play today against that man?
Dan Carter?
Oh,
is he playing? Is he? I thought the Dragons had funding problems.
And he's playing in the second row, fair play.
Yeah. Fair play.
It was good to see, wasn't it? Because Ben Carter does remind me a little bit of when Alan Wynne first came on the scene. He's that sort of stature, and he's got a lot of attributes. And Alan Wynne wasn't going to let him get the better of him in that challenge.
What do we stop for? Let's go.
I think they're having a look at Sam Parry, because he did take a whack to the head.
Looking after you as well.
Could need a head injury assessment. What about Alan Wynne-Jones? How many caps has he got in total internationally? 157. Can he get close to 200, you think, Sean?
Oh, what can you say about Alan Wynne? I mean, as long as he's going to be fit, and he will be consistent, just where the bar needs to be now when younger players are coming up.
Short little line-out play. Bateman, he loves playing hooker. He finds Leon Brown, gets the ball back, and Ollie Griffiths takes it into Ospreys territory. Ben Carter again. He's been a line-out target, he's been a carrier, but he's driven back by 3 Ospreys defenders. And has he lost that? Ooh, has that gone forward? Yes.
Unplayable going forward.
Unplayable going forward, but I think there was a knock on. But good defence from the Ospreys.
Yeah, it was a good hit, wasn't it? Originally by Ethan Roots, and then Sam Parry gets involved, gets a rip just as Carter's hitting the ground.
Let's go.
But what about Greg Bateman?
Oh, he's loving it, man. Loving it. Look at him flying down the wing. No chance. He's been great. I think he's been playing really consistent for the Dragons when he comes on. Obviously, he's come off the bench quite a lot, but look at Sam Parry. He's got his arm in, just dislodges it with a rip, and then has another go. So
just for the scrum, lads, because of the
knock on by Ben Carter.
It's a good contingency. You know, when you have a yellow card, particularly to a hooker, yes, you need a contingency plan at line out, and that's well thought out. Leon Brown, good football in the front. But they had a scrum now, and they've had to bring.
Space, yes.
Well, Samson's lost his hair.
That's right. Who's just come on? Do you know this youngster? It's Richard Hibbard in the middle of the front row.
Bind.
So Rio Dyer has left, so it'll be 6 backs for the Dragons.
Number 1, collapsing the scrum.
Reward for good scrummaging for the Ospreys.
Collapsing.
Greg Bateman penalised. He should stay in the middle of that front row.
Put him as hooker.
Reward for good scrummaging for the Ospreys. Well, the Dragons started exceptionally well, and Rodney Parade scored really early through Jonah Holmes. But I have to say that it's the Ospreys really that have dominated everything the play has been in the Dragons' half.
I just want to know why Richard Hibbard's hair is so dark. He told me he didn't bleach his hair.
Looks like he's done it himself as well. But they've been strong, haven't they, in this area, the Ospreys?
You need to react to it.
And how momentum switches in games. The yellow card has really sparked the Ospreys into life. The Dragons have had to go into their shell a little bit.
It's a better kick as well, isn't it, from Luke Price? This is an area where the Ospreys have been really good this season. However, the Dragons defended it very well.
Great attacking opportunity for the Ospreys. And they get the early drive on from this line-out. Has gone to the floor. Tiprick picks. A couple of metres out from the Dragons' line are the Ospreys. Reorganised. Roots. Offside is Dan Baker.
Stay line.
It's advantage, a penalty advantage for the Ospreys. Bradley Davis goes. The ball is there. Slows down. A couple of latches on, and I think that is Morgan Morris, I think, at the bottom of that pile, aided by Justin Tiprick. A good drive from the Ospreys, and they get a second score, and a deserved one at that.
Yeah, good patience from the Ospreys. First time that driving maul has moved forward from the line out. Keep the ball, just pick and goes that time. It's Morgan Morris, he's got Tiprick on his shoulder, just helping him over. Ollie Griffiths there to try and stop him, but too little, too late.
Pre-match predictions. Everyone said a Dragons win, apart from Sean Holly.
There's a long way to go yet. I expected a response from the Ospreys, and we're finally getting it in this second quarter. But the Dragons started the better, and they have been strong, the Dragons, in second halves. And you know, we got Taylor Davis and Rio Dyer to come back on. It's been a costly yellow card, hasn't it? And I just hope now that the Dragons pick themselves up and we get a real good contest.
Price, successful conversion. That extends the Ospreys' lead, and Rodney Parade over the Dragons. It's the Dragons 7, the Ospreys 17, and a second try for the visitors, and a first for Morgan Morris, back in the starting 15 today.
Yeah, it's a 3-on-1. It's a latch, they call it in coaching terms. He picks up, he's got Tiprick and another behind him. 3 against 1, really. And you can't stop that close to the line.
There is talk, Sean, of them trying to get rid of the latch.
I tend to agree. It's tantamount to a flying wedge nowadays. You know, it's 3 guys on a ball running into 1 guy.
Leinster won't be happy.
Or Exeter.
But, you know, it's a tough one, isn't it? You know, it's a really tough one to stop, especially when you're that close. But we'll see what World Rugby do about it. But there's nothing the Dragons can do about that, because we'll come back to the halfway line. First man there is Alan Wynne-Jones getting ready for the scrum.
Like a gazelle, he's just striding over there just to get there early. But Sam Davis's kickoffs have been so good as well. He's been really flirting with that touchline, makes it very difficult for the opposition. That time, just a little bit too much on it. Too much squats in the week.
Talk about momentum, Sean. You said, you know, they can swing in games. Little bits like that, you know, you're giving it to the Ospreys.
Yeah, you're compounding errors. The pressure at the scrum has manifested itself in the contact area. They're giving a few penalties away, and you know, that obviously concedes the field. The Dragons are so good with the ball, and they ball in hand and quick ball, but they're just being pinned in at the moment.
To be good with the ball, you've got to have it, and that's something they haven't had. Possession and territory and dominance at the set piece, especially at scrum time, has been all Ospreys. The arm is out again. Morgan Morris tries to free his hands. Still going. Well, they've done 25 metres from that scrum. Dan Evans, a constant performer, never present for the Ospreys, is the full-back. Flat ball to Justin Tiprick from Price.
Still advantage.
The Ospreys. Oh,
no advantage.
Looking to take advantage, but Gareth Thomas left the ball behind.
Forward.
Still looking a little bit narrow in attack, the Ospreys, I feel, you know, and that's where the errors are coming from. But the scrum is so dominant, you know, they're smelling blood in there now, those Ospreys front 5. See, just a little bit narrow, takes his eye off the ball. It's what we saw last week, but they don't need it at the moment when they're just winning penalties.
He's on his own as well, wasn't he, Gareth Thomas? He had to take that ball up on his own. Just need a few more options. I know it's been raining, and the Ospreys, certainly after last week's performance against the Scarlets, have probably tightened things up. But there is a time as well. There are numbers on the outside if they just have their heads up.
Yeah, no, I'm just checking.
Especially when you know the penalties coming as well. It's a free shot, isn't it? You can have a go. That's a lovely carry from Morgan Morris. Having a good little battle with Dan Baker at 8.
That's correct.
And the Ospreys have decided to take the 3 points. At least have a shot at 3 points. Luke Price has been perfect from the tee so far. Third, he's looking at it. I don't know why he's looking so long at it, because it's over. Another 3 points for the Ospreys. And with 4.5 minutes left of this first half in this Rainbow Cup clash between the Dragons and the Ospreys, the visitors are up to 20 points. It's the Dragons 7, the Ospreys 20.
Yeah, it's just punishing the Dragons. That's a good kick from Luke Price. It was just a little bit shy of his range, really, and he connected really well. It takes him 2 converted tries ahead.
Advantage, knock on.
Nothing going the Dragons' way at the moment. Knock-on advantage for the Ospreys.
Use.
Don't have to do anything. They'll come back for the scrum.
Okay, no advantage, knock on.
We will have a scrum. You mentioned the scrum pre-match, Sean. You know, for the Ospreys, it's been one heck of a weapon this afternoon.
Yeah, and it has been for them since Toby Booth arrived. I think he's focused on the set piece, platform, kicking game, and defence. And that's right. Any new coach coming in, you build your foundations. Next step for the Ospreys is develop their attacking game under Brock James, and I'm sure that'll materialise through the off-season. But you know, scrum is still king. Reece, when we were playing, scrum was king. You know, when Shane was playing for the Ospreys, the scrum was king. You know, with the front 5 that we had at our disposal, because it wins you penalties and wins you territory. So they're capitalising on that.
Dean Ryan, he'll have some words to say to his troops in the changing room at half-time. 2 good coaches here going head-to-head. English coaches at that. Dean Ryan, Toby Booth, Dan Evans. Clears the pressure a little bit. Josh Lewis looking to counter, runs into Kieran Williams, bumps him off, brought to the ground eventually, and the Dragons have some possession. And Irene Owen, he's not seen any ball come his way. Bertrand, Dan Baker. The Dragons got anything in them before half-time. Josh Lewis to Wainwright. Hasn't got his back row partner in Moriarty with him today. Good tackle from Dewi Cross. They're maintaining possession, but that's gone forward from Jack Dixon.
That wasn't the best of passes from Sam Davis, but he thought, I'm not taking it up. But that was a lovely tackle from Cross there. I think Sam Parry's really struggling to get over to Wainwright.
Sam Davis a bit fortunate that he wasn't penalised for being offside there from the knock-on.
He's going to be in the way.
He just held at the pass and then saw the door was shutting and give it to Jack Dixon, who was under pressure, and then Alan Wynne finished him off anyway.
Yeah, the old show and go, but don't go. Yeah. It's a tough pass to take, isn't it? Right flat on the left. I didn't run those lines, as you could tell. I stayed back and waited for the balls to come up the back. But
it was nice play again, Shane, wasn't it? You know, they freed up Aaron Wainwright in the wide spaces. Josh Lewis just held his run. He could have had it back on the inside, but you know, they do play with width.
That's the beauty you have when you got someone like Wainwright, who's like a tip break, I suppose. He can play in that back line. He's got good hands, he's got good space awareness, he's fast. See Sam Parry looked at him and thought, I'm not going to get over here. So it was a good tackle by Cross, who comes in and makes it eventually. Watch this now, he's pushing him on the outside, but he has to turn because Sam Parry is not getting there. Lovely tackle, nice and low.
White scrum.
Captain for the Dragons today is Aaron Wainwright. Captain material?
Yeah, I think so. He's a different type of person, isn't he? A different type of player. You know, we got so many back rows in Wales, Reece, but Wainwright, as I said before the game, he's a footballer. You know, he seems like an intelligent sort of footballer, and
same standard as
got some experience now.
Very good, the last one.
Where's his position? 6 is best position, or he's played 7. He's played a lot of 8.
I like him at 8. I do like him at 8.
I got you, Captain. No. Crouch!
2 minutes left of this first half.
Bind!
This round 3 Guinness Pro 14 Rainbow Cup clash. It's a Welsh derby, the Dragons against the Ospreys.
Early, not stable. Ospreys pushing forward.
And the Dragons get something at scrum time. It's a rarity. It's a free kick. Dan Baker off on a trundle. Oh, good hands from Bertrand. Rio Dyer gets the ball in the end. Bertrand did exceptionally well to get rid of that. Ben Carter, again carrying, he's carried tremendously. One line-up ball, he's done everything. Leon Brown with a carry. Good tackle on him. Dragons possession. Baker again. Not quite finding spaces like they have done in previous weeks, are the Dragons. The Ospreys maintaining a defensive shape. Josh Lewis and Irene Owen. Is Jonah Holmes in again? Oh, it's always a carbon copy. I said they're not finding spaces, but they found it there. Just a little bust from Josh Lewis, and Jonah Holmes gets the Dragons right back in the mix with his second score.
That's a brilliant try, brilliant try. We just said the Dragons, they like to play with width, and they're really showing some intent. And Jonah Holmes, I think he's only touched the ball twice. He's got 2 tries, but it's lovely interplay. You know, they know where they're going. They get quick ball at the ruck, which is really important. And, you know, some of the handling is absolutely exquisite. Josh Lewis had a good play. Nyden Owen, subtle, deft skills, and you don't stop Jonah Holmes from there. It's really quality play from the Dragons again.
I think he had 7 tries in 7 games before today, so now he's got 9 in 8.
Wayne Pivac here today watching him will be licking his lips in Jonah Holmes' form. So many options on the wings. It's another great try from the Dragons. What a time to do it.
And the clock is red. Sam Davis, how's he struck that one? Perfectly is the answer. So from nothing, they've had little possession. They started exceptionally well, did the Dragons, and they finished that first half exceptionally well. And another score for Jonah Holmes. So it's the Dragons 14, the Ospreys 20 at half-time.
Welcome back to Premier Sports, and we've got quite the compelling game here. It started brilliantly for the Dragons and ended pretty well as well in that first half, but the Ospreys dominated the middle period. They are 20-14 ahead, but thanks to a try from Jonah Holmes on 40 minutes, it's a one-score game. And I was watching that one with Ashton Hewitt, a Dragon, so you're kind of half pundit, half player today, and it was getting a bit hairy for the Dragons in that last sort of 20 minutes or so of the first half, so a critical time to score.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's always going to get a bit hairy when, you know, we've got the yellow card. I think we're giving away too many penalties, which is our main issue in the game at the minute. I think our defence is going fine, our attack as well. And then this try to get it before going in at half-time is amazing. We bring that intent in attack. Rio doing great to cut in from the touchline. And then quick hands here. We've seen Josh do it before. Bust through the line, offload. Nene putting those hands in and iron, and then Jonah finish it off as he has been doing all season.
He's on fire, isn't he? And just the traffic they had to get through there, Shane. There was virtually no space, but the timing of the passes and finding space where there appeared to be none.
Yeah, and that's one positive of the Dragons. You know, they can move the ball around this. Their passing skills is great. The running lines are good. They've always got options. They run it hard to the line. Lovely offload there from an Iron Owen. Just a lovely little pass to finish. I think it's Jonah Holmes has touched the ball twice, maybe it's 2 tries. That sums up the Dragons, to be honest with you. He does need to come looking for a bit more work, but the Dragons are always capable of scoring tries against you, and they never give up, and that's what makes a good team.
Well, let's have a look at the other time he's touched the ball. In the first try, in the opening 5 minutes, and it came, I guess, Ashton, from a poor exit from the Ospreys. We said their kicking game wasn't on point last week, and this let the Dragons back in.
Yeah, definitely, and it started from a variety of kicks. You know, we saw Josh Lewis put it behind in the corner, and it led to this inevitably, and, you know, Jonah's called for that kick there. Dan doesn't know whether to go high, go low, or how to stop him. He's caught in no man's land a little bit, and if you do that, and that split second as a man as powerful as Jonah, you know, you're going to come off second best. So we've seen it, like I said, a number of times this season, and he's powered through, beat the last defender, and gone into the post.
Yep, he's big, he's powerful, and he's got a real radar for that try line. 9 tries in 8 games with a watching Wayne Pivac. He's hit form at exactly the right time, Shane. But it was a winger on the Ospreys side who opened the scoring for them. Beautiful pass, and he just ran that line perfectly, didn't he?
Yeah, look, the Ospreys, especially as the half went, started to dominate the driving maul, and obviously the scrum was going really well. So Ruben Morgan-Williams here just takes it flat to the line. Dewi Lake hits a really, really flat ball there. 50-50 it really was, but you just got to look at where the 22 is there, I think, the line. And it'd have been really harsh not to have given that one. You know, that's what a good winger needs to do now. Start looking off shoulders coming into the game. Just before that, there was a lovely crossfield kick to him. Rio Dyer defended it very well. So he's starting to creep into the game a bit more. But yeah, Ospreys needed that try.
It certainly did. And you made the point when we were watching that, Ashton, that Dan Baker's tackle was almost too good, because in the act of tackling him, he sort of swung him round and enabled him to deliver that pass.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one to take, because it's not necessarily very bad defence. You know, he changed his angle last second to come in on that line and get himself under the post, but Dan made that tackle. We expected that tackle to be finished, but the way it ended up, managed to get his arms free. If you were looking at tackle technique, it's perfect, but I think it was a little bit of luck as well, and, you know, a great read to finish it off.
And the Morgan Morris try followed, Shane, and that was, I guess, more reflective of the Ospreys' forward dominance at this point.
Yeah, you know, the Taylor Davis getting the yellow card has made the difference, and that's how the Ospreys are back in the game, really. The driving maul before this was nullified by the Dragons' defence. They've done really well then. It's a huge part of how the Ospreys scored tries, really. But yeah, they just bit of patience, good ball carrying, just kept on going, and it's the latch in the end. You know, it's Morgan Morris is a strong enough lad on his own. He's got tip break, and I think it's Sam Parry just latching on his backside there. That's a lot of weight to help you when you're 1-on-1 on a defender on the try line.
Absolutely. So it is 2014 to the visitors here at Rodney Parade, and the difference, I guess, was this try we just saw from Dewi Cross. Picked a gorgeous line. It did go to a captain's challenge. That was denied. Ospreys ahead.
moments, goals, heroes, celebrations that will be played out for years to come. These men have etched their names into the history of this great cup final.
It is a huge day in the race for the La Liga title. We're down to the final 2 rounds and only 4 points separate the top 3 of Atletico, Barcelona and Real Madrid. All games kick off at 5:30 today. You can watch Athletic Bilbao against Real Madrid on Premier Sports 1. At the same time over on La Liga TV, a special multi-goal show where you can watch live action of all 3 games involving the title contenders. But as well at the Oval Ball for the next 40 minutes at least. Ospreys currently leading the Dragons here at Rodney Parade. Both teams have returned to the pitch, so we can return to our commentary team. Shane Williams, Sean Holly and Rhys Ap William.
Yeah, it's the second half at Rodney Parade.
Ready, Captain?
Luke Price will get us underway.
Ready?
The Ospreys ahead by 20 points to 14 against the home team, the Dragons. The Dragons back up to 15. Tyler Davis has had 10 minutes in the bin. And the Ospreys took full advantage of that.
Away.
But the Dragons started fantastically and finished with a score. Another score for Jonah Holmes. They get us back within one score, but it's an advantage. First penalty will be for the Ospreys in this second half. Can they use it? Roots, pass behind. A bounce ball, always dangerous. Kieran Williams collects that. Still playing advantage. Owen Watkin under pressure.
Yeah, no advantage.
No advantage, says referee Frank Murphy. And the Ospreys will have a first shot at goal or stick it in the corner.
No, I think they'll.
First man, clear lift.
I think they'll take 3 here.
Shot called.
Yeah. Tipuric immediately pointed to the post. And surprising, it's the first act of the second half, and they conceded right on the stroke of half time. And the way Luke Price has kicked so far, you'd expect him to get this one. Rain has stopped.
Sam Parry over the ball. I think Dan Baker done for holding on there. A lot of them are 50-50 calls. It's a breakdown. It's rough and tumble in there. The Ospreys get the first decision of the second half.
Dean Ryan's team talk. The sting has gone out of it straight away. Worst thing for the coach. Just want to settle into the second half, and early penalty. But the Dragons got right back into this. The yellow card tipped them, didn't it?
Luke Price's perfect record this afternoon continues, and the Ospreys extend their lead. A perfect start to the second half for them. Dragons 14, the Ospreys 23. Just 2 minutes on the clock in the second half. The Ospreys couldn't have wished for better, Shane.
No, that's yeah, exactly what Sean said, really. That's the last thing you want as a coach is, you know, someone like Dan Baker's quality as well, who's been fantastic at first half. I thought for the Dragons, taking it up, getting the ball turned over. Penalty to the opposing team. 3 points on the board and takes them past. Converted try, doesn't it?
You don't want to give that man the ball, Jonah Holmes. But he collects it. Charge down there. Tyler Davis on loan from the Scarlets. The traffic there. Is that a substitute on? Is that Chris Coleman on wearing 18? Let's have a look. Yes, it is. That means that Leon Brown has left. He saw him limping after that clash with his knee, but Jack Dixon, can he free his right hand? No, he's looking for Rio Dyer. Here comes Ben Carter again on a trundle. Oh, and has he lost it? He has. But this is going to be some trouble. High tackle, I think.
Yellow card, Cynical on the ground playing the ball.
Bertrand taking it quickly. Frank Murphy, an ex-scrum half himself.
Player has to leave the pitch. I've just yellow carded him. We'll wait.
We will wait. We will wait.
Yeah, Sam Parry made the tackle and then obviously played the ball whilst he was on the floor. Frank Murphy right there.
Marcus here.
Lovely carry from Jack Dixon, forceful down the short side.
And Wainwright has tapped and gone. Not hanging about. They want tempo in their game. Baker, he's assisted this time. Has he got it down? Yes, he has.
Initially,
similar try to the Ospreys. Morgan Morris in the first half, similar position. Well, the try is standing. A lot of complaints from the Ospreys, but no captain's challenge as yet.
You can complain as much as you want. You keep hold of that captain's challenge unless you think 100% you're going to win it. But again, saw him right last week as well. Take one of these quick tap pass. Tipuric does well to get it around his ankles nice and quick. But Dan Baker making up for that turnover early on, isn't he? Again, does exactly what the Ospreys done with Morgan Morris. Latches on. Extra 40 stone behind you there.
It's become
Thank you very much.
It's become the new set piece, isn't it? Tap penalty at the start, the free kick or the penalty, and they know where they go in a couple of phases, and over he goes.
Kind of guaranteed to maintain possession. No guarantee of a conversion going over. But the flags are up. What a start to the second half. It's only not even 5 minutes on the clock. We've had a yellow card, we've had a penalty, we've had a converted try.
Oh, that's exactly what Dean Ryan would have wanted, isn't it? Dragons are a confident team, and when they play with their heads up, they play some fantastic rugby. And in fairness, there's been times when they've gone down 2 tries down and have kind of given up, but that's not the case anymore. Dan Baker making up for his mistake there and taking that ball over the line. He's been great for them so far this game.
Yes, the Dragons 21, the Ospreys 23 now. It was 14 points to 20 at half-time as Luke Price gets us underway again. Long may this continue. Tries, penalties, all the action at Rodney Parade. It's an advantage as Ruben Morgan Williams spots some space. He needs some support. Or does he? I don't think he does. Oh, this will be a chat between referee Frank Murphy and Alan Evans, the assistant referee.
Good to me, just touch. We're awarded a try.
There we have it, another try.
Wow, the assistant was right there, and he's confident. And Ruben Morgan Williams, well, he's played so well in an Osprey shirt since he's had a start in birth. He shows a turn of pace there, doesn't he? Gets away, and he's in. It's a good finish, ball in the correct hand. He didn't need to fend. His momentum took him over, and what an opportunist try. It's like a training session, it's ding dong.
That's great, isn't it?
I'm going to run out of paper if the scores continue like this.
That is a good finish, because he looked at one point, he was a bit too close to that touchline. You had Rio Dyer just chasing him back, getting back on his tail. Almost Josh Lewis and Rio Dyer got in each other's way trying to tackle Ruben Morgan Williams, and it was a great finish in the corner. Didn't have to go to the TMO. Good refereeing and touch judging.
All of a sudden, it's 3 tries apiece at Rodney Parade. A real ding-dong second half. After this conversion, will be 7 minutes gone. 2 tries, a penalty, a yellow card. Action-packed. Luke Price just pulls that one across. It's a 7-point advantage that the Ospreys have at Rodney Parade. A try by that man, Ruben Morgan Williams, a cracker of a score. He's a play a bit of sevens to this man as well.
He just backs himself, doesn't he? Just backs himself, and I think, like I said earlier, I think Josh Lewis and Rio Dyer almost took themselves, each other out then, out of the tackle. Good finish.
Josh Lewis underneath this one. Everyone's looking to play. Have some serious speed out wide there. There we cross with a tackle on Rio Dyer. Lovely little offload. Chris Coleman hitting a line. Tempo's certainly increased in this second half. Nyrin Owen looks up. Not a bad option. Maybe could have kept that ball in play.
Yeah, but it's nice play again. You know, a little look down the short side. I think Josh Lewis is playing really well. He's stepping up and playing like a 10 at 15, distributing well. It's not a bad option from Nyrin Owen. Just put the pressure back down in the Ospreys 22.
On your front man, please.
Both sides are coming out to play now, which is great to see. Great shape, good pass coming up from Jack Dixon. And again, Nyrin Owen in the wide channels. They got kickers right across the back line, the Dragons.
Attack with depth, don't they? They're really deep, almost exaggerating their depth, but it enables them to keep the ball, play the ball through the phases. Nyrin Owen looked, saw the defence was up, put the ball through.
Sneaky lineup for the Ospreys.
Tackle away.
Short throw.
Inside, captain.
To Morgan Morris at the front.
Not available yet. Use it!
Ruben Morgan Williams, the try scorer, told to use it. Hurry up a little bit. There's the clearance kick. Not a bad one. Where is the assistant referee Ben Breakspear going to stop? On the 10-yard line? Just about.
It's an excellent kick from a tight angle from the young scrum
Ospreys
half.
on the line.
He's under pressure to use that from Frank Murphy.
Let's go Dragons, same as Ospreys just a second ago.
The Ospreys took advantage when the Dragons were down to 14 men. Can the Dragons do the same? That is the question. They lost Sam Parry, their hooker. They've crossed for a score in that period. Jonah Holmes has crossed for 2 tries so far. He's not held. He gets up and goes again over the gain line of the Dragons. Way over the gain line. Ollie Griffiths couldn't take that. The pass was behind him. Just a little delay and it's an advantage for the Ospreys.
Stay.
They've got options. Kieran Williams. Owen Watkin carries into traffic. Releases that ball as well to Dan Evans. That's a maul. Is the advantage over? Tackle release. I think the advantage is still standing for the Ospreys from a knock-on.
Advantage over on the knock-on. Advantage over.
There is the call from Frank Murphy.
Use it.
Morgan Williams under pressure from Tyler Davis. Josh Lewis underneath this one. Options either side. Let's boot the ball. It'll be an Ospreys line out. What have we had? 10.5 minutes. What a second half it's been. Everyone can take a breath, Sean.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't get cagey now because it's got a quick, it's a quick start of the second half. It's just a little deep from Ruben Morgan Williams. As I said, Josh Lewis.
My touch didn't have a clear touch on the ball.
See, that's an element of the half-time team talk.
Let's go, please.
After they scored at the end of the first half, let's just peg the Ospreys back. Let's give them loads of line-outs. They've been using Justin Tipuric a lot. 9 wins in the line-out last week. They've gone to the front a couple of times now.
Well, it's interesting that both teams have lost hookers to the sin bin, to yellow cards. They haven't replaced them for line-outs because Gareth Thomas is throwing in for the Ospreys, as Greg Bateman did for the Dragons. Little head fake from Ruben Morgan Williams. There's a Gareth Davis. The Scarlets brought it the game. Rio Dyer into space. Oh, had a man outside him and his captain, Aaron Wainwright there. Alan Wynne-Jones thought he just pinched that ball. Numbers for the Dragons. Sam Davis offloading the tackle. Oh, it's gone forward again from Ollie Griffiths. First game back. Not quite maybe up to speed as yet. Definitely a chance for the Dragons there because they had numbers out wide, just couldn't get the ball there. Luke Price in the pocket.
Use it. Advantage over on the knock-on.
Justin Tipuric. The Ospreys captain, Ollie Griffiths, over that ball. I think he's going to win the penalty. Yes, he has.
Hey.
He may have made a few mistakes. Ball in hand. Bertrand takes it, but he's not allowed to go again.
Work with me. Work with me.
Work with me, thanks Frank Murphy. He took the ball from right in front of him. That's what usually referees want.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. It's a good turnover from Ollie Griffiths. But the Ospreys just slowed their own play down here. Luke Price called forwards around. It was really slow, and it was an opportunity for Ollie Griffiths. A free shot, really. Poor play, poor exiting from the Ospreys.
Yeah, no options was there. Tipuric was there on his own, took it upon himself to take it up. Bradley Davis just flops over the top, allows Ollie Griffiths to come in. God, Thomas had his arms around Ollie Griffiths' neck as well. He needs to be careful.
Yeah. It's substitution.
Substitutions for the Dragons as well. See, Tane Basham is on. Richard Hibbard is back on.
What number?
Taylor Davis is off. Let's see who else has gone altogether. Dan Baker has gone as well.
Wayne on subs, lads. I never put time on. Another one, yeah, not you. Brooks, come up a bit. We're good now? Okay.
I think we're just doing the maths to see if everyone's got 15 or 14 in the Ospreys case on the field.
Interesting to see who goes to 8 now for the Dragons. Both Ollie Griffiths and Aaron Wainwright have played there.
In the last one, so just be careful. No, one of your players.
A genuine chance for the Dragons. Joe Davis the target.
Ball!
And on comes the drive. It's a
Line
good set.
over.
How's the counter by the
That's
Ospreys?
one side, going
Doing well,
sideways.
shifting them across.
Okay, bound,
There's
19,
everyone
17.
in. Jonah Holmes in there as well. He fancies a hat-trick.
No,
They'll have to use it. The big opening out wide. They go blind. And Irene Owen's got to be careful, because if they turn the ball over here, they could be in a spot of bother. Round the corner comes Ollie Griffiths and Tane Basham. Working well in unison there. Oh, he's done for a little roll. That's another law variation that I don't particularly like.
No, I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
That affected the contest.
When we used to play touch rugby and stuff in training, it was all, you know, we used to have the touch and there used to be one roll and then offload, and it's a big part of the game. It's not really held, as I suppose. On that instance there is an attempt to turn the ball over, but how many times have you seen a player just be half held, roll over and get penalised? It's a tough one.
Well, if you want to quicken the game up, really, you know, that's something that makes it quicker. It's cleaner ball for a 9, whoever's arriving at the contact.
I think the only mitigating factor is that Morgan Morris has an opportunity to jackal the ball, and that one extra turn
2 meters, please.
deprives him of that, and that's why the law's been brought in. It was hardly a Scott Quinnell roll, was it?
But in the act of scoring a try, you are allowed another move, so what's different in open play?
Speak to World Rugby, Reece.
I've got them on the phone now. Joe Davis is gone. Good innings for him. And I think the Ospreys are back up to 15 as well.
Onside now. Backwards by Black.
Backwards by Black. Rio Dyer has it. Just trying to see who's on for Joe Davis. Oh, it's a penalty for the Ospreys, competing at the breakdown. Little things going the Ospreys' way at the moment.
We've got a mixture now of replacements on, a couple of tired players, and we're seeing a lot of jackling going on. There's one score in it. And we talked at the start about how important this game is to both sides for a win. Bateman goes in, Nicky Smith, he's now opposite number, has it, and he stays in there, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's Hugh Taylor on for the Dragons. He's a back row usually, but I think he's going to slot in to the second row. He's wearing 20. Tane Basham wearing 21. The Ospreys have this line out on the Dragons 22. Tiprick a target again. I don't think Alan Wynne-Jones has taken one line out this afternoon.
Tips took 9 line-outs last week. He's the go-to man, isn't he?
Once 9. Leads the leg.
It's a 7-point game at Rodney Parade. 55 minutes on the clock as Kieran Williams carries into traffic. Ball is there. Roots. Hibbard on the tackle. Bateman trying to pinch it.
Roll away.
And I think he has stolen that one. Great work from the loose head prop, come hooker, come winger in the first half. Josh Lewis. That's why it's handy to have that man at 15. Another outlet. Dan Evans has got a gun of a left boot as well. That's a good counter from him up towards halfway.
That's a great kick from Josh Lewis. Nothing worse, I can imagine, for a forward. Getting in the 22 of the opposition, then having a heads up and realising that the ball's all the way back on your own 22.
Similar with Gito, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go, please. 6.
It's a quick turnover, isn't it? It's really good, needed for the Dragons as well. Look at this boot. This is huge. Just get it down there. Doesn't matter where it goes, as long as it lands on that grass and that green bit.
Possession for the Dragons is not very clean though. Everyone's off their feet. It's a pile up there. It's getting a bit feisty at the breakdown. Very vocal with the remaining squad members on the touchline as well. It's a proper Welsh derby.
Use it. Stay onside.
Bertrand puts it into the afternoon sky. Luke Morgan, there's a name I haven't said a lot. The ball just hasn't come his way at all. But he took that one well. Secure possession. Tom Bothell.
Last now, rock form. Rock form.
Hugh Taylor as well to get out of
Use
there.
it. Skate.
This will be another box kick. 9-9. Bertrand underneath it. Good feet. Oh, he could have given that to Josh Lewis. And it's quick ball again. Tane Basham in at 9. Sam Davis thought about the kick. Dixon did kick. How's that going to bounce? Wow, he's kept that in play as an Irene Owen. Ooh, could have worked out for the Ospreys.
It was a clever kick, actually. Don't associate Jack Dixon with a crossfield kick, do you?
Oh, it's opening up. Josh Lewis has got it again.
5, 9.
How was that one judged? Oh, a little bit too much on that 2-iron.
Good work, Ben.
Correct option, Sean, but just too much meat on the bone.
Yeah, it's just the one mistake he's made all game. He's been excellent, and it was so close as well. Right option.
6 and 3
but
white.
It's the style of game at the moment that is suiting the Dragons more, I feel, than the Ospreys. There's a few hands on knees, few changes being made now.
That line for me.
And the Dragons, they play with a little bit more width.
We all
they have to chase the game a bit now.
Time on.
Yeah, the substitutions. On comes Rhys Henry, Will Griffiths and Joe Hawkins for the Ospreys. Tom Bolther has gone.
Knock on into touch. Options.
Owen Watkin has left as well for the
your option. No, we can't.
The Ospreys. Trying to get these substitutions to you, but the play just won't stop.
Line out.
Yeah, Dragons with the option to have a line out on the scrum. I can't see them going for a scrum intentionally anyway, the way the scrums have been going.
I see Nicky Smith on there wearing 17. Nicky Smith and Rhys Henry alongside Sam Parry in the Ospreys front row. Will Griffiths has gone into the back row. He can play second row or back row. It's a good drive there. A very good drive from the Dragons.
Collapsing, number 5.
Led to a penalty. Tane Basham. He'll need some support. Kieran Williams competing.
New advantage off feet, number 12.
He's penalised there.
Hands
Didn't see much wrong with what he did. No, hands on the floor, okay.
Your advantage, Dragons, if you want it.
Advantage if they want it. Sam Davis thinks he spots a gap. How's that going to bounce? Kindly for Ruben Morgan Williams. Well, back we'll come.
Don't let it creep in. 2 penalties quickly in a row.
There's tempo really coming into the game now. It's opening up.
And it's coming from Bertrand. You know, the tap penalty. He's demanding a ball from the sideline. He wants to speed it up. And the intent is there from the Dragons. They picked a fast back 5 now. Hugh Taylor's come on. A back row into the second row. Tane Basham, wrecking ball of a back row where Bertrand's really driving them on. And
time off.
You know, at this moment, you can see the momentum just swinging in the Dragons' favour, Shane.
Yeah, definitely can. They've certainly got their backs up, haven't they? And the fact that it's only 7 points as well. You know, this is a new character that the Dragons show. They never do give up these days, and it's only 7 points, and it's all to play for. Playing the better rugby.
Oh, little short throw.
All backwards again.
All backwards, not a problem. Ben Carter tied these things up. Oh, Tane Basham has been penalised there for going low. It's a tough one again for me because he's got to get below someone to clear them out. And he's been penalised.
Came from Alan Wynne, stealing the line out. And Ben Carter was left a little isolated. Basham had to rush in, went off his feet.
Reach Davis on for Bradley Davis in the second row. And as Sean Holly said, Alan Wynne Jones just got a right hand to it, deemed not to have gone forward in the line out, and this is the penalty that ensued. Basham, yeah.
He's just off his feet, isn't he?
He was like a mole there, I've got to be honest.
Like couldn't get any lower, could he? Couldn't get any lower.
Price has taken play into the Dragons half. Sam Parry with the target, and it's Alan Wynne Jones takes his first line out on their own throw, that is. Williams into Sam Davis. Quick ball again. Hawkins on, lovely little offload to Morgan Morris. Try scorer for the Ospreys in the first half. Tiprick delayed ball. Ollie Griffiths competes. Possession again. Dan Evans breaks the first tackle. Will he go all the way? He doesn't need any support, does he? Rio Dyer gets to him, but too little, too late. The Ospreys fullback goes over for their 4th score. It's a bonus point try, and that came from nothing.
It's a killer blow for the Dragons, but it's no surprise. Kieran Williams and Morgan Morris are both involved in the build-up, and this man, what a stalwart of Welsh rugby he's been. 2 caps back in 2009 on the North America Tour, none since. But look at the angle he gives, determined run, he's still got the legs. That's a good finish from a fullback.
Yeah, there's only one way with this man, isn't there? For a fullback, he loves the crash ball. Bertrand just goes too high. It's a lovely angle out to in. Rio Dyer just has to come back in and trail him back. But again, for Dan Evans, he's had quite a quiet game, isn't he? Really, we haven't really seen him involved. He's normally involved in the kicks and clearing the ball for the Ospreys. Got shrugged off by Jonah Holmes in the first half, but that's how you repay your teammates.
No price with the conversion. The Ospreys up to 35 points, no problem there. What's on the clock? It's almost 63 minutes, 17 minutes left at Rodney Parade, and the Dragons trail the Ospreys by 21 points to 35.
Yeah, 2 converted tries now just to get level, and that's knocked the stuffing out of the young Dragons team. You can see they look a bit despondent. They've got to pick themselves up. There's plenty of time left in this game.
Yeah, 17 minutes, yeah, all to play for. What you don't want to do as a team now is just push it, try and offload everything, try and play too much rugby. Plenty of time left.
Tackle! Plenty of time left in the competition as well. When you look at it, where the Ospreys are, they're in 9th at the moment with 5 points. They get a bonus point win here, that takes them to 10. That's up with Munster and Glasgow in 2nd. It's really, really tight. Benetton at the top at 14 points in the Rainbow Cup. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, crucially for the Ospreys, they've got to play Benetton, who are unbeaten at home, and travel to Connacht.
If the Dragons are going to get back into this game, they need a score. They need one pretty swiftly. They won't get one through kicking. Not a bad little shunt through by Jack Dixon, but not what they want. They want to keep possession for as long as they can through the phases.
If I saw you holding them in, I would have penalised you. You know the one over there. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Okay. I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Alan Wynne-Jones having a chat with Frank Murphy. He may not be Ospreys captain, but he's
Time off,
still an
substitution, number
influencer.
15, Black. Time on.
Yeah, Johan Davis on, is it, for Josh Lewis. He had a nice couple of runs last week against the Blues. Nearly scored a try to win it for them.
Once 9.
Sharp.
Use it.
Good broken fielder, and he's Johan. Came through the Glantarv system.
Advantage,
good
knock
contest in the air. Well, that's got to hurt Luke Morgan's fingers. Taking a whack on that.
He's clearly on the ball, no advantage.
Just below us here. Yeah, that's a little dislocation of the pinky, I think.
I've been there. I felt you could hear it as soon as he went up there. Just fingers up in the air.
Both contests, he actually knocked it on.
That's not the hard bit. It's the hard bit putting it back in. It's a lovely kick. It's a great chase. Oh, I don't know if I want to see this. Oh, right on the fingertips.
They're both doing the same thing, right?
Oh, he's
Go
off.
back to the ball,
Right below us here as well.
Just a good contest there.
The worry here, Shane, is that you might have, cracked the top part of the digit. It looks like he can't put it back in, so that's unfortunate for Luke Morgan.
With the way he's holding his hand, I think that might be what they call a little compound, that where it's come out, you know. If you're playing club rugby down the leagues, just pull it back in position and tape it up and play on there.
Sit!
Tape it up.
And come to Elvet, he'll be out for 3 seasons with that one.
Use it, 9!
Dragons ball, Dragons possession, and Irene Owen pass behind, needs another one to get on the outside. Holmes to Dyer! Oh! I was looking forward to seeing him go then.
That was lovely.
Oh.
That was really nice. That was great handling skills. Ball in front every single time. The pass from John Holmes was perfect. I don't know. It was harder to catch it than not to catch it. Great play. Now I don't know when. Coming the first receiver. Lovely pass by here. He's got to catch that. That's try time. I don't think anyone was catching him there.
I don't know if he just took his eye off it. The little end over end pass it wasn't a spin pass. There it is, a push pass. He just took his eye off it, Shane.
It's in the basket.
If he just runs onto that, he's in. Lovely timing and flow in the back play there of the Dragons.
They are very confident in throwing that ball around the back line. They do it really well. The depth is perfect. They've got time on the ball. 9 Owen in the centre there. Lovely pass initially from him.
Let's reset, get the space right.
Yeah, that was the ball from Aneirin when he straightens and delays the ball. Rio Dyer, someone who's been working with Darren Campbell, the Olympic sprinter. Really looking forward to seeing him go then. He just unfortunately didn't catch the ball.
Couldn't catch either.
Yeah, he's not been doing handling skills with Darren Campbell. He's been doing sprinting.
All right.
Bind!
But he's got to catch the ball to sprint.
Set!
Good job!
The knock-on is compounded by a penalty at scrum time.
Straight out, no. Head below head.
An easy exit for the Ospreys.
Yeah, Welsh international, Nicky Smith on fresh. Chris Coleman just making his way in the professional game.
And a debut for the Ospreys as well. In the middle of all that dislocated finger for Luke Morgan. Max Nagy is on.
He wasn't injured.
Watched him in the warm-up and he looked good. The first professional start for the Ospreys for that young man.
I used to look good in the warm-up, Reece.
Morgan Morris carrying in midfield. Morgan Williams gets here again. Dan Evans pass behind. The Ospreys looking for space and finding it. Tiprick out wide there. Ball back inside. Flicked back inside again. The Ospreys doing exceptionally well to keep the ball alive. There's Nicky Smith in the headgear. Tiprick back involved again. Support there for him. Price. Morgan Morris into some heavy Dragons traffic. Trying to compete.
Leave it now, leave it.
It's a good contest. Molly Griffiths and Sam Davis in there. Price. On the angle comes Will Griffiths. He's met by Jonah Holmes. Price, Ali Wynne Jones. Stepped, little offload to Hawkins. Hit by Ben Carter. Joe Hawkins, still only 18 years old. Young man to be playing senior rugby. Could be a real talent for the future. Ooh, just a little bit on too much of that one from Luke Price.
Yeah, probably the best set plays of the Ospreys have had throughout the game, but the defence on the Dragons was just incredible, ferocious. One black line coming up really hard. Like so Jonah Holmes putting some big hits in.
This is your mark.
Well organised. Just getting on the outside of
front man.
Rio Dyer on that one. They keep the ball well, keep it in play.
You have to sub on.
It's good to see, Shane, isn't it? You're right, that's the best bit of attacking play we've seen from the Ospreys. Lovely runarounds, got to the edge, Tipperick's out there. Much improved from last week's performance.
Okay, so
the balance of play, the set piece has been strong, winning penalties and therefore taking the field.
Taking that line out was
back nine,
Hugh Taylor for the Dragons. Greg Bateman has gone, which means that a late replacement for the replacements bench. Aaron Jarvis is on. Oh, this is going to be tight. Sam Davis and Bertrand, have they got the Dragons out of trouble there? Well, just for a little bit, as Morgan Morris carries. He's not going to pass, he's going to trundle on. Ball is there, that surely is out. Ruben Morgan Williams eyes a little gap. He always takes a little step to find a little gap. The Dragons really under the cosh at the moment. Nicky Smith an offload to Will Griffiths. Molly Griffiths was trying to steal that one. Hawkins, no real options for him. Dixon tries to get his mitts on the ball. Didn't quite get a full grip on it to win the penalty. Jarvis in on the tackle. Good continuity. Drop goal. Oh, I'm not sure about that one. No offside as Jack Dixon collects. He needs some support. Basham, fresh legs. He offloads to Bertrand and Irene Owen. Wonderful hands. Jonah Holmes in space. Couldn't quite free his hands. 10 minutes left in this Welsh derby. Long may this kind of play continue. Bertrand, Johan Davis.
That's fine, time is fine.
Morgan Morris. Potentially a late little hit on Bertrand, and that's gone forward.
You engaged him, that's a knock-on.
It's frenetic at the moment at Rodney Parade.
You ran into the defensive line, not the other way around.
It's a real shame, isn't it? Because they're an absolute joy to watch sometimes, the Dragons. It's great handling skills. They attack with such depth. They got time on the ball. Jack Dixon's come into this game, wasn't he, second half? It's a lovely offload from Basham.
Mark's back here.
Look at that. And I don't know when again. He's got lovely hands to him. Jonah Holmes just going to take it straight, get behind the gain line. Just a little knock on in the end, isn't it, unfortunately.
You're hitting up. You're too long the last time and hit down.
Jack Dixon involved twice in this one.
Substitution for the Dragons.
Crouch.
One that Gonzalo Bertrano is not happy with.
He's not happy at all.
He's found a seat to take a breath. Dan Babos is on.
We're both sidestepping.
It's only missing 10 minutes of the game.
Well, I think he might have got on the wrong side of Frank Murphy, the referee, as well, a couple of times. You know, a little bit of frustration maybe from the Argentine. What do we have on the clock?
Stability from both there, please.
9 minutes left. The Dragons 21, the Ospreys 35. Has he calmed down a little bit? I think he has.
No.
Crouch!
With a South American
Bind!
Passion.
So played well, man, isn't he? He's all about the tempo of the Dragons, to be fair.
He's a good sign, isn't he? Because
it's far side.
He epitomises what the Dragons try and do. They're trying to get quick ball, trying to get it out to the backs there, play some flair.
These guys are going far side to
good signing for them.
Should mention as well, Luke Morgan left for that nasty dislocated finger on his birthday.
Neither of you getting right. I'll keep resetting if you can't get it right. It's up to you. If you want to play rugby, it is up to you. Let's go. Here we go. Mark's here. Mark's over there. Let's go.
And Sean Hawley will be selecting the Guinness Player of the Match today. What have we got left? Eight minutes left, Sean. You know, who's in the mix at the moment with you, Sean?
But you know, a lot of the Dragons players have played really, really well. It's just that the Ospreys have managed the situations a bit better as the Dragons win the penalty. So it's difficult to pick one. It's been a lot of good performances, Reece. Come back to me in 5 minutes.
I will, don't you worry. Jack Dixon carries Jonah Holmes through the tackle again, busting through for fun, and an offload. Lovely pass from Jarvis to Rio Dyer. We want a big finish at Rodney Parade. And you know what? I think we're going to have one. Oh, bravery from the Dragons. Took the penalty quickly, did Sam Davis. And that man, Jonah Holmes, if he's not on the winning team, he'll be up for player of the match, I'm sure, Sean.
Do you have to be on the winning team to be man of the match? I mean, Jonah Holmes, Rio Dyer have been excellent. A lot of the Dragons players have. Look at this. You know, he's just been so impressive the last 5-6 weeks. Link play, as Shane said, you know, it's a delight to watch. Rio Dyer, who's going to stop him there?
No, Alan Wynne looked like he was corner flagging, and I thought Dyer's going to go for the corner, but he steps back inside, uses his strength, and he's made up for that one he missed earlier on, hasn't he?
Here's a big kick for Sam Davis. Need every point. He's pulled that one. Sam does miss conversions. It is that pull.
That's a big miss as well, isn't it?
I see the try again. Great play. Jonah Holmes through Kieran Williams' tackle, offload. Oh, out the back door. Lovely ball from Jarvis there as well.
Luke.
Dyer had plenty of work. Picks a line, puts his head down and goes for it.
They've just got such confidence with ball in hand, haven't they? Okay, they do make mistakes and they do turn the ball over, but it doesn't deter them. You know, in the next play then they'll do exactly the same. They'll get it wide, they'll take a quick tap, they'll have a go. They know they're still in this game, and they're a joy to watch.
Well, they have a bonus point, a fourth try. There's a debut for Todd Glebe as well, the man on loan from Gloucester. He's on at hooker for Sam Parry. Matthew Aubrey on at 9 as well for the Ospreys. Oh! Well, you see it all the time. You just get a little foothold back into the game, and then you give a penalty away or give points away from the resulting restart.
Well, again, this has happened several times, hasn't it, for the Dragons? You get back, you score a cracking try like I get back in the game. You almost give it, even though he's going for the corner here, you almost give it that opportunity to kind of take the game away from you, really.
I get that mentality, but you know, still take a minute. Well, it takes a long time off the clock, and that's certainly not in the corner.
Yeah.
What did happen from the restart? Let's have a look.
It's a coach killer, isn't it? Really, just gone front foot again. Nicky Smith, it's a real added value part of his game. You know, good scrummager. They got a nice step for a prop, and when you can win turnovers like that.
Will Griffiths. Clean line will take for the Ospreys.
That's once.
Joe McSkimmel in the middle there as well.
Keep
He's
going,
on for
keep
the
it up.
Dragons. That's a
That's
maul.
twice. Use it now.
Dragons don't have to do anything with the Ospreys don't have to do anything with it, rather,
Not
because
used.
the Dragons have got their hands all over that ball in the maul.
No, I don't think so. Came to ground, broke the seam.
4 and a bit minutes left. Sean Hawley has got his pen and paper out, trying to figure out who is player of the match, the Guinness player of the match. He doesn't really know. Too many options.
He doesn't know. I've never seen Sean sweat before.
I'm asking the cameraman.
Stay aware.
The other question is the game safe for the Ospreys? Do you think they've got it in the bag? 4 minutes left.
Set.
The crucial conversion that Sam Davis missed for the Dragons. Couldn't brought them back within a score. Babos, seen the passes behind. Dyer, he's got some real wheels. How does that man, Johan Davis? Good feet as well. Almost get on the outside. He's got to get that ball down. He does. Babos, Ollie Griffiths. Has he got that down? Yes, he has. Davis, the pass behind an Irene Owen. Dixon out wide. Support gets it. Where is Jonah Holmes? Nice to see him get a hat-trick. Make Sean Hawley's decision a little bit easier. Davis. There is Jonah Holmes. To Tane Basham. Just about brought down. Babos. Quick ball to Dyer. 3 minutes left at Rodney Parade in this Welsh derby as Chris Coleman carries into 2 Ospreys defenders. Real tempo now for the Dragons. They know they need the score. Griffiths to an Irene Owen. Lovely, lovely play from him. Oh, has he held on to that though? The Ospreys competing again. McSkimmel. Nicky Smith over the ball. He takes some shifting, but they managed to. That hasn't gone forward. That's off a leg. Luke Price with a kick through. Sam Davis has got to work. Max Nagy chasing after him. Lets him get up. And a good tackle. Luke Price competes for the ball.
Even now, contest over.
Basham beats 1. Almost beats 2. Does exceptionally well there. There's a replacement back row forward. Babos.
Stay there.
And Irene Owen in lots of space.
Agree.
They decide to kick. Well, I guess they're breathless. Right, Sean Hawley, how long have you got left? Just under 2 minutes. Who is the Guinness player of the match?
Look, there's so many good individual performances. The game has been fantastic. It's showcased a lot of Welsh talent. You know, there hasn't been one individual that's really, made the difference for the winning team, whoever that might be. So I want to give it to somebody different. I mean, Ben Carter was good in the second row. Jonah Holmes with 2 tries. Rio Dye has been good in terms of the Dragons. For the Ospreys, Kieran Williams has stepped up second half. Ruben Morgan Williams and Morgan Morris have been excellent. But I'm going to give it to a guy who's displayed great skill, great hands, lovely feet.
Let's go, Ospreys.
Mike Guinness, player of the match, is Dragons number 12 and Irene Owen.
Yeah, watch the block a little bit.
Shane Williams, your thoughts?
It's hard to disagree with all that. I think, Dan Baker in the first half was superb. He took his try really well. And Irene Owen's just a different kind of player, isn't he? He's like having an extra 10 up there. He's got great vision, great handling skills, and well deserved. Jonah Holmes come a close second. 2 tries and he's been great, especially as the game's unfolded.
And the Ospreys are winning by 2 scores.
Exactly, it's that sums it up though, doesn't it? It does sum up the Dragons. They play some lovely rugby, but sometimes discipline lets them down. Breakdown areas being a concern, and the Ospreys have just capitalised on that.
Yeah, the Ospreys have had a dominant scrum as well, winning penalties, winning the territorial batting. I think this is going to be a try on debut for Max Nagy. Had a little bit of a chance at a stiff arm, broke the tackle. What a way to celebrate your first appearance for the Ospreys.
Yeah, and he took it well, didn't he? He's been involved, hasn't he, a few times since he's been on the field. Lovely pass from Anywin. He's got too much to do here. It's a poor attack, attempted a tackle, sorry. But Max Nagy, he's a big man. Big man, lovely pass in the end, isn't it? Look, just the big fen, big right arm comes out.
Unless you take the kick in.
He's gone too high, Hugh Taylor. Lovely ball from the old timer, wasn't it? Alan Wynne under pressure. Can I give Max Nagy the man of the match now?
Too late.
think that's game, set and match definitely as the clock turns red at Rodney Parade. 5 tries to the Ospreys, 4 to the Dragons. It's been a try-fest in round 3 of the Guinness Pro 14 Rainbow Cup, Northern and Southern Hemisphere versions of it. Can Luke Price put a cap on it for the Ospreys? And the answer is yes, the flags are up, the final whistle goes at Rodney Parade. It's a victory, a bonus point victory for the Ospreys against the Dragons. Hugely entertaining affair. A real good Welsh derby, tempo in the game, yellow cards in the game. Great start to the second half. But the Ospreys take the spoils at Rodney Parade. The final score here is the Dragons 26, the Ospreys 42. What a game, guys, what a game. You know, you can catch your breath. You know, it was breathless out there in the second half. What was it at half-time? 14 to the Dragons, 20 to the Ospreys. So we've had a bundle of points in the second half as well. Entertaining Welsh derby, Shane.
Yeah, and usually the Welsh derbies, they can become a bit stale and it gets a bit feisty out there and there's not much rugby being played, but both teams really had a go. I think we've already mentioned it about 100 times today. The Dragons, they play some lovely rugby at times, but just let themselves down with discipline, not looking after their own ball in the breakdown area. And like you say, Aaron Owens had player of the match, and he's on the losing team here. So that says it all, really. The Ospreys collectively were better, played in the right areas, discipline was better, and the set pieces went better, and that's why they won the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a much more all-round performance from the Ospreys that we've come to expect. The set piece was really the start of it. They won the penalties, got the territory, and then played some good rugby in the second half, some good individual performances. Halfbacks did well. Morgan Morris at 8 for the Dragons. Just need to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, Sean Hawley chose the Guinness Player of the Match, and I believe he's with Owain.
Adam Wainwright, if I can ask you to present the Guinness Pro 14 Player of the Match award to Aaron Owen.
Cheers, mate.
And Aaron, many congratulations on your performance, but I know you're the ultimate team player as well. You know, start off, how disappointing was it to suffer that defeat?
Yeah, pretty disappointing. Like, we started off really well against Scarlets, and we should have won last week, I feel as well. And just a bit of inaccuracies again just cost us again this week. Breakdown and kick-offs probably just let them back into the game too much, so we'll have to look at that.
But knowing those are controllables within the team, does that give you kind of positivity looking on to the next round?
Yeah, I think we've always challenged ourselves as a group. We want to get better, and you know, we still got to start putting some good performances into wins now, and we'll look at what we did wrong today and what we did right today as well, and we'll try and put that right again.
But on a personal note, it must be happy with a Player of the Match award and being on the losing side at the same time. That must show you performed well.
Yeah, I'm just bothered about the result, and we didn't win today, so that's the biggest focus of the team. We want to be winning games, so the fact we didn't win is the most disappointing.
Cheers, Knight. Many congratulations on the award. If I can pull you in, Aaron, and we can turn the mic towards you. Talk me through that performance then, because you were in it, you're out of it, in it and back out of it again.
Yeah, a bit like Norrin said, I think breakdown probably killed us. Not efficient enough, giving away so many penalties, free kicks away at the breakdown area, probably let them into the game, and that's what cost us. We couldn't get our game going. And I think you saw last week against the Blues in the second half what we could do when we had a good attacking platform. We just couldn't get that going today. And that yellow card, a couple of decisions maybe in the first half that went against you, maybe meant your backs to the wall for a certain period of the time. Yeah, probably could have dealt with that a little bit better. But like I said, the main thing that killed us today was our breakdown efficiency. So we'll probably go away and look at that and look to do better against Glasgow. Thanks for your time, boys. All the best of the weekend. Cheers. Thanks.
So whether the final score was reflective of the match, we'll debate that in a few moments' time. But the Ospreys convincing winners on the scoreboard. Dan Evans with a bonus point try. We'll see you after the break.